Whatever.
Library. Curious George, the curious little monkey.
Hell yeah. Well, we went to the library last weekend with my kids. Love
Which
going
one?
to the library. The newer one, I forget the name of it, but the one over the side off 28 West.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The big nice one.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't
I lived
been
in those
to it
apartment
yet.
complexes for like 4 years.
Did you?
Jeez. It's a long time living in a box.
I was in literally in a
This
box.
shoe box.
Yeah, until I moved into the house that I'm in recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you move? When?
In October of
cool.
2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you invited us over there and God, fuck, I thought he lived in an apartment. Maybe I made all that
no,
up. I don't know.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I did, man. It is a drastic change from where I was, man.
Yeah,
like,
it's
fuck it.
awesome. We got a
Yeah.
very nice house, and I'm pumped for this summer. Whenever you don't invite me over, and I show up with my kids, like, "Hey, dude, you said you had a pool?
Yeah.
I'm just here to hang out."
Dude, you can go over there whether I'm there or not anytime. Use
Wait,
the pool.
appreciate
The
that.
ones in Alexandria. Is it Alexandria? The one, where were they at?
The apartment?
Yeah.
In Alexandria.
Okay, but which
By
one?
that new Walmart,
I was
or
thinking-
close to the new Walmart.
Okay.
Provine Place?
I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking somewhere totally different.
Yeah,
Okay.
library's right there.
Yeah.
Right next to the Lake District Dentistry office.
Yeah. When you said you went to the library, I just assumed you went to the one in Pineville, and there's a new one in Pineville,
Where
like 28 East, I think. Like they redid I think they built
They've
a new
got
one or
the-
something. Yeah. I think they did. Anyway.
like farther down there in Laboose.
yeah, kind of like Laboose area.
Okay, yeah, I know that one's been there. I didn't know they redid it or not.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking they did another one.
There's
Maybe they
that
did.
one.
Maybe
There's
they
the
didn't.
Robertson over here beside Tioga.
Yeah.
And I think those are the only two in Pineville.
Okay.
There used to, I thought there
There
used to be one
Street.
on Main
There
Street,
was
yeah,
one
but
on
I
Main
don't
Street.
think it's there anymore. They still have the
Yeah,
signs up,
it's-
so it may be there.
I don't know. Have you ever been to that museum on Main Street? That little.
No, I go by it all
Yes.
the time. I like to.
You've been in it?
Yeah.
What's-
Don't tell
what's
me
in
that. I'm
it?
going to go to it. So
Never
don't ruin
mind.
the
Wait,
surprise.
wait. Are we talking about the same one? The one that's in Alexandria,
like
right by the bridge?
No. The one in Pineville on Main
Like
Street.
the little fire truck and stuff.
No,
Yeah.
man, I haven't been to that.
I was
I was
gonna
just
say,
joking about ruining it. Which one are you talking about?
I guess the main
kids museum
the
thing?
art museum in Alexandria, like
Oh.
right when you come off the bridge, it's off to the
To the
left.
Yeah.
I've never been to that.
yeah.
I ought to. That's it.
They have
you
free
should experience all the things in your town.
they have free yoga classes there. I think.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Have you? My mom was telling me today about. I don't know what it's called. She called it trapeze yoga that they're doing somewhere in town around that area.
Lux
It's where
Studios.
they do the.
Yeah, Shannon Brewer is the girl who owns that studio.
Turn my phone down. Yeah.
Yeah, they do the suspended from the ceiling.
suspension yoga.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty legit. Have you tried that or anything?
No, man. I mean, I have a desire to, but I haven't gone over there. I actually, she does massages too, and I bought
Hell yeah.
I bought 2 people massages last Christmas, and I don't think they used them. So
That's rude.
money well spent.
Yeah, no shit. That's rude.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's like you see, like hanging from the ceiling. They have like sheets looking.
It's
stuff.
like sheets.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm talking about the little museum on Main Street. You're right. The one with like the fire truck in it or whatever.
Yeah, I've
It's
never
like
been to that
This
either.
little tiny building right on Main Street in Pineville, and I've been driving by it for 30 years or whatever since I was a kid. And I was like, man, I should go to that thing. Just never been to it. Like, it's probably interesting. There's probably a couple cool little factoids about
Yeah.
Pineville. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We were the first whatever. Who knows, some port or something or whatever that carried this kind of vegetable from some other place that would never, some shit like that. So boring, but kind of interesting to know, I guess. Anyway,
Yeah.
We were in Shreveport earlier, and I was telling you earlier, went to a place called Twisted Root Burger Inc. or Company, I think. Have you ever eaten there?
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that place?
It's good. They have buffalo meat there.
Yes, they got a bunch
ostrich
of-
meat.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was on the list of
So,
shit.
yeah.
They have beaver. They said they have camel, ostrich, beaver. That I was so excited when I saw the beaver.
Yeah.
did you try it?
No,
What'd you eat?
I just ate a burger.
Just a regular burger.
Yeah, because I was too fucking hungry, and they didn't have it like listed. I was like, just give me this one right here, please.
Oh,
But
okay.
I tell you what I'll say. They have a bunch of like a pickle bar, and they've got
Oh,
like spicy
yeah.
pickles and the bread and butter pickles. I ate like
Man,
about 50 of them. They were so
Man.
fucking good.
I love when those when you go to like a fair or street fair or some shit, and those people have like the sweet and sour pickles and all these different flavored pickles and have like little samples.
Yeah.
That stuff's so good, man. That's so good. What is it called? The place you went to?
Twisted Root Burger Company.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a good little vibe in there and all, so it was fun. But yeah, no raccoon.
Why not, man? Why didn't you try the raccoon?
Fucking racist. I don't know.
You didn't want to eat raccoon.
Rude.
No, they didn't have it. They didn't have any raccoon.
Oh,
and they're supposed to have kangaroo as well.
Oh, they're going. Okay, that's all coming.
And
Okay.
next time I go up there, I'm definitely gonna.
What the hell? They got a zoo in the back?
That's sort of what I was thinking. You know, they were supposed to have elk too and bison. Yeah, I wonder what it takes to get a live kangaroo here. I wonder what that takes.
You think it comes live? You think? They probably.
No, I'm just saying if I wanted a
Oh,
live
you
kangaroo,
wanted one?
If I'm gonna, I want a kangaroo, maybe a miniature one
Move to
in the
Texas.
back. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously you can go to Texas and get all the animals. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking
tigers and
badass
shit
too.
and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Well, you'd have to contact. I mean, you have to
First, you
contact
have to
somebody.
find somebody. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure just a
Willing
Google
to-
search, a couple days of research, you could probably figure
yeah,
out
you're
90%
right.
of it.
Most of that shit probably about
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Then
right?
just actually contact that somebody would be, that'd be the, but you could probably figure out the steps pretty quickly. I mean, you can figure out how to make a nuclear reactor
Exactly.
by Googling it. You could probably figure out how to get a kangaroo to Louisiana, I would think.
Oh man,
I mean, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
no, you're not wrong.
Have you seen those videos of the kangaroo like standing in the window
Yes,
and
with
they're
the
like
muscles.
super jacked?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
scary.
Yeah.
That's
the
another
one
one.
you
And
get.
apparently in Australia they have a kangaroo problem.
Yeah.
Like they do in the
Well, yeah.
Midwest and the Northeast with deer. It's like that.
Well, if you just walk out your door and there's like a jacked
It's like
Terminator
it's like a
kangaroo.
criminal standing in your yard.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You want to come outside and check the mail?
If
dude?
not, fuck no.
Come on.
Yeah, and then he starts
check
hitting
him
the
out.
window.
Yeah.
Like a
he's-
scary
and
movie.
And he's kind of like a mutant mammal because he's just got, he's a marsupial. He's got a patch
Yeah.
right here
Yeah.
in the front where he keeps his little kids or sheep. I don't know.
She, whatever it is.
What if you
Yeah.
could convince them because they got that pouch and you just like get like some fruit roll-ups or something and just put them in that pouch and they're like cool and they go off on their own and then but later on they come back.
I think
would-
I think he's still gonna punch you.
He's probably gonna fuck you up.
Have you
It's
seen the
gonna
video of
suck.
the
I'm
guy
not
that-
gonna be happy at all.
He's still gonna
Yeah,
punch you.
Have you seen the video of the guy that punches a kangaroo? You seen that?
I've seen the meme. Yeah, like the GIF file.
Oh, just
Yeah,
the GIF of
just
the dude
GIF,
doing it? Yeah. Yeah, he was like,
No,
you haven't seen it?
No, it was-
They're out somewhere in Australia, and his dog like runs off, and he goes and he's playing with the kangaroo's got the dog like in a headlock. It doesn't really look like he's trying to hurt the dog, but you don't really know what's about to happen. And the guy's like, "Hey, let go!" And he does, and kangaroo kind of steps at him, and he just like jabs him in the nose, and the kangaroo's like, "What the fuck?" And the guy kind of goes like, "Oh shit, I just punched him," and they kind of have this moment, and he walks away from him, and the kangaroo's like, "Did he just hit me?"
Kangaroo's probably like, that's my move.
Yeah, he just like jabbed him in his nose. He's like, "What the fuck?"
That's weird.
Yeah, you haven't seen that?
That's no, I haven't seen it, but that's weird the way we view that, right?
Yeah,
We automatically, most people want to go to animal cruelty or whatever.
yeah.
It's clearly a situation.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'd let the dog go, so maybe.
Did you see where the
Yeah,
kangaroo?
well, I don't know. With the dog in the mix too, it's like with the animal cruelty crowd. Where
Yeah.
do you go? Kangaroo was attacking
Yeah,
my
yeah,
dog.
Well,
so
Some of them hate the kangaroo for hurting the dog, but the other ones hate you for hurting the kangaroo.
it's like the AI car trying to decide between the human and the fence post.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, which one is? Man, I might have to do some.
It's the fence post is more easily replaceable, so we run over the human.
right,
We
right,
just replace it with a fence
right,
post.
right.
I think that's the algorithm or whatever.
I just figured that's hilarious, dude. That is such an accurate picture. Like, let's see, which one's easier to place? The fence post,
Boom.
kill the
Done.
human. It's literally comparing us to we're equal in the eyes of AI. We're the same thing, basically.
Right.
It's not which one is easier to replace. We need more fence posts. Kill the human.
For sure, we need more fence
Nuts,
posts,
man. That is scary shit. Did y'all hear the? I didn't hear the whole thing, but the what's the guy, the CEO of Twitter, Jack?
Oh, yeah.
Dorsey or Dempsey or Dompsey or
Dorsey.
Dorsey. Is that
Dorsey?
it? Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear it?
I did. I listened to it. There were parts of it that I was kind of passively listening to,
Yeah.
and it was pretty interesting. I really liked kind of what he was saying at the very end.
I didn't hear. See, I only heard like the first hour ish
Yeah.
or middle hour.
I have mixed feelings about Twitter and a lot of the social media platforms and their origins and the people that created them.
Yeah.
But he sounded like a pretty level-headed guy that
What? You think? I mean, I don't know. I didn't hear the whole thing at the end, especially. I didn't hear the end. He seemed vague to me. He kept sidestepping. Like, I mean, I want to hear the whole thing, and I don't want to but Joe kept asking him like pretty specific questions about major Twitter news cases,
Right.
The banning of Alex Jones, the Charlottesville stuff,
Right.
And he was just like, "Yeah, I don't really know anything about that. Yeah, I don't really know anything about that."
Yeah.
I was like,
You don't know anything about your company?
"You don't know anything about the biggest news story in 2 years that happened with your company multiple times."
Right.
Like, come on, dude.
You're not on Twitter?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That was the only thing that bothered me. But other than that, he seemed like a normal guy. I just wish he would have just,
I'm sure that for legal reasons he can't get into things.
Well, he can say that. Say, I'm sorry, I can't talk about that. That's inside company information, whatever. Not like, I don't know anything about that. Come on, dude. Like you said, aren't you on Twitter?
Well, maybe he's not making the decisions. Maybe algorithms are.
And that's what he said. But that's
right.
But and whatever, it is what it is. I mean, First Amendment, blah blah blah. It is his company, but just say that. Like, I don't know, man. I don't really know what happens.
I got algorithms running my company.
Yeah, algorithms.
What, you think I know the reasons why these things happen?
Yeah.
What does that do to his? I don't know what their stock is worth. I assume it's pretty good. But what does that do to his stock if he says something like that publicly? Yeah, maybe everyone knows that, but once those statements are made,
Well, he actually did say
it has
it.
effects.
He did say it.
To a certain degree, he said that there's still like human review. Well, like when they ban somebody or do a temporary, I don't know what they call it, like a temporary ban, or they review in the account, decide whether they're going to permanently delete it or not, or they punish them and temporarily ban them from Twitter. I don't know how that works because I'm not on Twitter, But I mean, I think it's just one of those things, man. I don't think he could talk about it from a legal standpoint. I don't think he wants to probably comment on it because he's afraid maybe he might say something. Maybe he feels like he might say something in that moment that he'll regret.
Yes.
So, you just kind of take a step back. I don't really know.
Yeah.
And maybe he really doesn't know. Maybe algorithms are truly running the company to a degree that he's not willing to expose to the public yet. So he doesn't really know why the algorithms are making those decisions.
That's
because
what I
they're
was
making
gonna ask.
decisions on their own
If
at
you
this
think
point.
maybe they're trying to figure it out before they bring it out.
I think right now we're trying to figure out what's going on with the stock market because algorithms are running the economy.
I don't know much about that. I've heard about that, but I don't know much
we
about
don't know.
it.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah,
what's
AI
going on.
makes huge decisions they just have computers and they've had this for a long time, I think. I mean, this isn't new. I mean, what it takes for a computer to monitor the changes across even a million companies and figure out like how to push just money here and there, that's probably just like a couple of hundred lines of code. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
sure.
somebody could have written, like, watch these companies. If they go to this mark, do this. If they go to this mark, do that. Sell when it's this, buy when it's that. And it just goes, okay.
Have you ever messed with code? Like writing
yeah,
your
a little
own?
bit. Yeah, I did it in college a little bit. Yeah,
Briefly, you've done it way. If you did it in
I did
college,
high
you did
school
way
too,
more than
actually.
me.
We did Q
But-
Basic in high school. Yeah, but
yeah, I'd like to learn. I've looked at it a little bit. It's very interesting to me.
yeah, that and we did. I mean, I wasn't real good at it. We also did like if and or circuit stuff, and that's pretty neat too. You can do a lot with a circuit that says and, one that says or, one that says if. So literally, you just have like, if this happens, do this and this, or do that if this happens, and you can build.
That's how they get real
huge
long. Yeah.
code and circuits out of just chips to
If
do
and
that.
or.
If and or, after, before, that kind of stuff, like just real simple commands. So stock market shit, man, they've been doing that stuff. I think just been as long as there's been a connection from a computer to the stock market, it's been happening.
Yeah,
I would think.
yeah.
You
I think that code writes itself now.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it probably, and they are doing like machine deep learning, and that's what he talked about. He actually said that the AI that's making decisions at Twitter was deep learning, like deep AI stuff. And Joe was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Which I mean, we all kind of knew that anyway, and I'm surprised he admitted it. But it's like, why? I mean,
Well, you know what though? I find it like looking at the news. I've been doing it a lot lately, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing that we're definitely in that exponential growth phase.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think that it's compounding right now as we speak, like on a exponential logarithmic level, and I really feel like this is coming quickly, and I feel like we're gonna get to a certain point where we are definitely not going to be able to keep up. And I'm just wondering at what point do we reach that? And will there be different people within society that just like, okay, well, these people can't keep up anymore. And then there's the next strata. These people can't keep up anymore.
Yeah,
and
but
then it's only gonna
what's
be
happening to those people, though? They can't keep up anymore.
Good question.
Soylent Green or?
Good question. Well, I hope we don't have to eat people at some point. You know, that would suck. But
well, we have the robots that'll eat us, so that's never mind.
Yeah. Right.
We just feed them to them.
But what if, like, this CEO guy, like kind of what you're saying, that what if that is one of the first, like, media representations of, what if he's being honest? What if he's like, I really don't know what it's fucking doing. Here's this thing that's shaping the opinion of world leaders. I mean, Trump uses it every day. People get news from it, information. You know, a potential war could happen over some shit. ISIS is on Twitter. All these, you know. And he's like, I don't really know what it's doing. It's just kind of doing its thing. I don't know why it gets bad. I don't know. I just had to take that check and
just imagine
buy my yachts and shit.
The amount of data that's being inputted into Twitter, and it's just taking in all of that information constantly on a constant stream. So many different data points that it's conglomerating into.
Yeah. I felt, though,
information.
I still in my heart, though, felt he was being a little disingenuous about some of it. Like, when he started talking about AI, I almost thought he's just making excuses in a way. Like, I don't know what it's doing. Because he did know very detailed answers about, like, he would say, well, we don't look at individual comments. We look at what happens after the comment. We look at reactions. How many people are reporting this comment? How many people, you know, are calling for a ban? How many people or negatively or upvoting or are negatively commenting, or how many people are retweeting versus, you know, all these things, instead of looking at just the Twitter comment. And that's, so he knew a lot about how it works, but then when the decisions were, when Joe was like, well, what's the final decision to kick somebody like Alex Jones off? He was like, well, I don't really know the details of that case. You don't know the details of the case of Alex Jones?
Are you on Twitter?
Yeah. Well, not really. I don't really use. I've created an account called Gumbledank a long time ago when I was like a stream online. So like you like Gumbledank?
I like the way you glossed over that. But we're gonna go back to that.
No, go ahead.
What is Gumbledank?
I don't know. I just made it up one day. I was like,
Hebrew origins?
No, oh god, no, it does not. No, I was like, what is a cool name? I think I came up with Gumbles and a couple. I had like a couple. For some reason, Gumble sounded funny to me, and then I had like Gumbledore. It's like I started thinking Gumbledore.
Was this when you were doing the sword fighting? Did it have anything to do with that? Like just cool ass names?
We've definitely got to talk about this.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. What's the formal name for something like
what
that?
I was doing? It was called SCA Heavy Combat.
Okay.
But what SCA stands for is the Society for Creative Anachronisms, and it started in like a college in Berkeley, California, I think, with like steel pipes and motorcycle helmets. They had some kind of ball or a party or something. I'm going to butcher the story. I'm just kind of going by what I think I remember somebody telling me. And they kind of just came up with these backstories and crazy names, like I'm Henry V, and I'm just, you know, and I challenge you to a duel. And they just beat the shit out of each other with pipes and wore like baseball catcher outfit type padding and shit and like helmets.
And this is circa
probably like late 70s or mid 70s. I don't really know, but it may have been the 60s. I don't really remember. It's 60s to 70s, something like that.
All right.
Yeah, they're just just getting real stoned and like making up a backstory for their character, and they were challenging each other to duels at parties and stuff or some kind of gatherings, and it just went from there. And now they have fucking war. And people get together. We were doing it on Sunday. They still do it. You go over there and watch them. You get together with helmets, and everybody has a name and a backstory. I never quite got that deep into it because I was trying to come up with one. I just never could. I just like doing the fighting part.
Of course you did.
Yeah, man. It's a martial art. It is a martial art. You are, you're literally getting kills with your weapon, and it's like if you get hit in a particular area, you're dead. And you start over, or if you get hit in the, and then there's this honor system because if you get hit light, you can call a light hit. But I mean, man, if you get hit in the legs after you get to a certain training, you go down on your knees and you fight from your knees like you lost your leg. I mean, and dude, when you're standing over here with somebody standing over you with basically a rattan baseball bat, and you're on your knees, and they're standing over you like trying to hit you in the back of the head and like going as hard as they can. Dude, that's crazy. And you're just going like, bring. Yeah, you have this helmet on, and you have a shield and stuff, dude. It's like, holy shit.
You would show up to jiu-jitsu, and we'd be in the locker room putting our gis on, and you'd have some
nasty
horrific bruise on you,
dude.
And you're like, yeah, I'm doing this, and I would just think to myself, like, this dude is fucking crazy. Okay, like it's bad. Like I think I'm I'm stretching the limits. I'm putting my body on the mat. I'm 38 years old, I think, when I started.
Yeah,
and you're over here.
It was fun, man.
Medieval
fucking sword fighting.
Yeah.
They used. There's all, and then they do war. They go and they like camp out in these huge fields. There's one called like the Pensic War or Pence. I don't remember.
That sounds fun.
But like 10,000 people go, and they just separate into armies and factions, and there's tents, and the women go and they're all dressed period, and everybody has backstories and stuff, and they just charge each other. I'm serious, dude. And they charge each other on the field, and they just fight all day long. And like when you get killed, you go to the back of the line and start over, and you just like hit. There's guys with spears.
How long does that last?
It's like 4 or 5 days. They just do this, or like a week. They do it like a week. Then they war for like 4 or 5 days, and then it's like a big huge party at the end or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
By the time everybody's tired and packing their shit up, you know what I mean? But they just fight.
But does anybody die?
No, but people get broken bones.
Do people get pretty jacked up?
I would imagine. I've heard some stories. Oh yeah, Frank, or well, they always call him by their SCA name. Henry the Ninth or whatever was here a while back and practicing. Somebody hit him in the elbow and split his elbow open, and he can't raise his arm past his shoulder anymore. There's a couple of those types of things, but it's rare.
It just seems to me
shit.
like you take one hit and like you might be crippled forever.
Yeah, but you're armored pretty good, dude. So the striking area for heavy combat, and there's fencing and stuff too. Heavy combat is knees.
Yeah, I'm down for the fencing.
Above the knee to the top of the head. So like if you get hit in the arm, you got to put your arm on your back and stuff. But you're wearing gloves, wrist protector. Something that goes all the way from your arm right to behind your elbow. You're open from your elbow to here. Then you have to have a collarbone protector, gorget. You have to have a chest protector, liver protection. You're wearing a pretty good bit of stuff, but you are still swinging basically baseball bats at each other. That's got a hilt over the thing. Usually people fight with shields, but you don't have to.
Is there ever anybody out there in just full body armor?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
You ever seen those where I've seen them on YouTube where the dudes are in armor in a ring fighting each other?
It's on the History Channel now. They have one called Night Fight. Yeah, it's MMA on the History Channel.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's scary too. Those fuckers are they are swinging full bore.
Yeah,
full clip.
Oh yes, it's bad. Well,
but they're using like metal weapons.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, but they're just not.
Is there a restriction whenever you're doing that? You can only use this type of whatever?
There's tons of rules. All the weapons are like they have. So when you go to the practice SEA combat, there's a night. You have to get your card to be started. You have to be certified for combat and certified to compete. And every group has a night, or is supposed to have a night. And there's squires and knights and like ranking and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And the knights wear a white belt, like a white leather belt, so you kind of know who they are.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And the knight here is Motan. I can't remember his real name. That's his name. He has a Mongolian like backstory, whatever. He's like a Mongolian warrior.
And what is he in real life though?
He I want to say he like works somewhere in Alexandria, just like I don't remember exactly what he does. They got like a copier place or something. He works like a technician or whatever.
But he's a fucking knight in his off time.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
awesome.
Yeah. And dude, he so the weapons are really they're so what we use is like 1 1/4 rattan, but then they're reinforced.
Rattan, what the hell is rattan?
Rattan is like when you see those guys like Filipino stick fighting.
Okay,
it's like a bamboo kind of, but
Gotcha.
much, but solid. There's no there's no hollow point to it.
It's almost like a dowel, but it's just
and it's very. If you cut it and look at the end, it's like a bunch of straws, like real small straws.
Okay, I got you.
So it's kind of flexible, but you can hit it. It's not.
Is that what they use in the Eskrima, the Kali?
Maybe, I'm not sure, but Eskrima, that's kind of the same type of stuff.
Cool.
I think. Yeah, it looks like bamboo.
And you can make whatever weapon you want out of that material.
Yeah, it has to just follow certain rules, and then you have to wear the right armor and all that stuff. But people fight with 2 swords, 1 sword, and a shield.
You ever see somebody make some nunchucks?
Two-handed sword.
Well, yeah. What about like a ball and mace?
Yeah, like a mace.
They can't do. I think there's a rule you can't do any cord to your weapon. Like there can't be any like chain or rope to your weapon because it's a, especially at war, you're swinging this thing, it's wrapped around somebody, and you got all this armor on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can choke them when you can't get it off.
Yeah, but you can make a fucking 2-inch rattan war hammer that's 7 feet long. They talk about this guy, and that was he's like 6'7" or something, and he
Scary, but awesome.
he makes like he has a 2-inch dowel, and he's got like just a big thing on the end, and he just stands behind, just like
yeah, fucking awesome that is.
He's like one of those guys.
You think about
he
it.
Hit somebody in the collarbone, like broke their collarbone. Yeah, like hit him and broke his collarbone.
Think about where we're at in society right now, where that's what people are doing.
Yeah.
That is fucking awesome.
The copy guy, nonetheless.
That's what I'm
It's
getting
cool.
at.
I don't know exactly what he does, but it's.
I'm sorry, I interrupted earlier on that. He was in Mongolia, and you were telling the story about him. I don't know if you were.
No, that's just like his backstory. Everybody
Yeah.
comes over with a backstory. You know what I mean? So,
Well, have
and
you
kind
ever
of dress the look.
Yeah.
Like you try to eventually get your armor to look kind of. So he had like leather armor because he was in Mongolian
Yeah.
wars. He had like leather stuff, and then there's people that go English.
See, that's-
they
man.
full English armor. and
That's
all that
what
stuff.
sucks. All the ones I like the most, they had what I don't think it's shitty armor, but versus some of the weapons they never would have faced it shitty armor.
Yeah.
So I get to wear. I love the Islanders. You know how much armor they fucking wore?
No, nothing like a loincloth.
Yeah, that's it. It's like I'm just gonna get the shit beat out of me and cut up.
Yeah.
I used to play D&D when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you do the same. You come up with your backstory. You get to pick a race. You're
Right.
either these elves or orcs, whatever.
Right. It's kind of that, but real life.
But
Sorta, yeah.
we made what we called Dungeons and Dragons 3D.
Yeah.
Where we just made weapons.
There you go.
All of the way, and we would sword fight. We were kids now. We'd beat the fuck out of each other. We'd make maces. Somebody shot us with crossbows, just with blunt arrows. We made swords and hoopax is one of them. Any of that shit.
You can do projectile weapons.
Okay, that's what a hoopack is. It's basically like a staff with a slingshot on the top. Well, it's not elastic though. It's just got the leather. So when I sling the rock,
Kind of works like a sling.
So can you have a
Yeah.
spear?
Yeah.
a trident.
You can
and a
you can take a spear and like throw it at somebody and
I
like
don't remember
hit
if you
them.
can throw the weapons, but you can definitely have spears. Because like when they go to war, there's always like spear battalion. There's like groups of guys with spears. They're on the front lines. They make like 12-foot rattan, like 1.5-inch thick spears.
like the Spartans.
Yeah, and they just like they go in with like shield walls, and then the guys behind are like,
Fuck, I want to
like,
see this.
Yeah, I think those guys were originally there though to stop the cavalry, right?
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
There's all
horses
kinds of
charging.
reasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's I mean, there's all kinds of reasons. But they'll do like a shield wall and stuff. There's no animals or anything, so they use it like that.
I wonder when they do the really large scale wars.
That's what I wanna see.
If there's like some type of tactical approach to it, or if they're
There
just
must
all
be.
lining up and just going at it like Braveheart.
Dude.
Because there's definitely tactics like flanking the enemy and things like that. And
Well, yes, but the other part of
is there
this,
is there like a
there's
general
all, yes, because
on
there's
one
king,
side?
no, there's kings and queens and
okay.
generals and all that stuff. That I don't know how they do the ranking, but they have ceremonies and all that at war, and like one side wins or the other side doesn't, and all that. I don't know. I actually never went to war. There's several wars, but the other part of what you're talking about is that most people just want to get in there and fight. So there isn't a lot of strategy. It's just like, let's go, and then they just beat the shit out of
Braveheart.
each other for like 5 or 6 days.
Gotcha.
Because nobody really wins. You know what I mean?
Does anybody really win in war?
Yeah, right.
Ever?
Yeah. I was watching Roadhouse the other day, and
Roadhouse.
that come on all the time. She says, "Do you ever win a fight?" And he goes, "Nobody ever wins a fight. No one
Nice.
ever wins a fight." Yeah,
Nice.
it's super slick. Like, you just dropped your panties, dude. But
Patrick Swayze back in the day, ripping
man.
throats out of people. Good Lord.
dude, he weighed like, what's so crazy in that movie? He weighed like 124. You know how thin he is in that movie? He looks like he does. Like,
And he can dance.
and the dude can dance.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Back in his day, he was just slinging all kind of dick.
You know he was.
Dude.
What did he
know
die
he-
of? What,
He
Fucking
died.
lot.
He died very quickly. He actually had. I'm
of
trying
cancer,
to.
huh?
He had and it was one of those cancers where, like, if you get diagnosed within 6 months, you're gone.
yeah.
And it was one of those. I want to say it was like maybe like some kind of cancer of the endocrine system. So like
That doesn't sound
and
good.
that gets you have glands all over your body, and
Yeah.
they're I mean once they're far-reaching. So they're constantly secreting hormones and different molecules that go way across the body, and you get that kind of cancer, and it becomes systemic
your
very
body
quickly.
just stops working.
Yeah.
It's like it can't communicate.
Yeah.
I wonder what the quality of life is like in that 6 month window, that 3 month
Probably
window.
horrible, but at least it doesn't last for long. I don't know though.
You almost wonder how many people, if they went to the doctor tomorrow, they would get blood work done and they'd be like, "Well, you got cancer."
Yeah.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and then the mindset,
So as far as what what the medical field's determination of having cancer, in the populace itself, this is a business.
Yeah.
They're in the business of you having cancer.
And
unfortunately, we're all walking around, probably at some point or another, having signs, different growths, and in your immune system, if you take care of yourself and you watch what you eat, and you're not just slurping down Diet Cokes all day long and drinking Slurpees and eating hot dogs from 7-Eleven.
What if they're not diet?
I think it's the sugar and
There was just
massive
an
amounts of
article.
aspartame.
Yeah.
I mean, aspartame was actually a neurotoxin that was developed back in the 1960s. Whenever we were looking at ways of developing biological warfare, and so we were growing these weaponized. No, seriously, we were growing these weaponized E. coli strains that maybe we could put in the water supply of the enemy and decimate a town very quickly. Anyway, they were plating these E. coli bacteria, and the E. coli bacteria were excreting.
Ben's writing it down.
Okay, yeah, write it down, brother. They were excreting a waste byproduct, and when they isolated that waste byproduct, it was aspartame, and they found that it was
I knew it was a waste byproduct.
So it was a neurotoxin, an excitotoxin, and so that's what it does. Is it stimulates your neurons and excites you, and that's why it's so addictive, and it's also one of the reasons why it's so carcinogenic.
Yeah, I spent like about 6 or 7 months, maybe longer than that, drinking Diet Cokes. I was like jogging every day and doing sit-ups and push-ups. This is like 20 years ago. And like all of a sudden I just stopped. I just realized like this is not good for me. It can't be good. Now the thought of drinking a Diet Coke almost like gives me like nauseous. It's like
it's almost, but it's crazy that you could find a byproduct of a biological weapon you were trying to develop and patent it, and then put it in the food supply, and people will consume it.
Well, I mean,
at such high quantities.
Well, they're forced to almost.
That you make billions of dollars.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, we could make this a food additive.
Billions of dollars back in the 70s and 80s standard.
Right.
Which is like trillions now.
Yeah, man. They just came up with it. Oh, look, here's a byproduct that we can put in stuff. Kind of sweet tasting. Yeah. Let's put it in shit.
Look, it excites these rats.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does to humans.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff.
I was listening to a podcast with the dude that does the Power Crunch, I believe is the ones he makes. And apparently he makes a lot of other shit. There's a type of protein bar. I think it was the Power Crunch. But he was going off about, they were asking him why he doesn't use stevia. And or stevia, however we say it. I'm going to call it stevia. But he was saying that they use sucralose and because it's just not that bad. He said they've got all these studies showing that it's not that bad, and there's no studies on stevia. There's just none, so we don't know. It could be this, but we know that sucralose isn't that bad. And that's the first I'd ever heard someone say that in that way. And I don't know that he references any of them, but he was super...
There's no studies on stevia? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what he was saying. He was like, it hasn't been used long enough, or it hasn't been around. Yeah, studies. In the public eye, blah, 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 blah. But he was super adamant about using not aspartame by any stretch, but sucralose, Splenda.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is that a lot of times it's not necessarily one particular chemical, but it's something else that they add in there, right. Like red dye number 5 or something like that. And you're like, oh, well, that seems pretty innocuous, and that's actually highly carcinogenic. Yeah, not red dye number 5 in particular. Yeah. I don't know that for sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just saying that there are all these, when you look at the back of the package, there are all these hidden chemicals. And one of the things that they'll say is like natural and artificial flavors. and they leave it at that.
Yeah,
but that's a compilation
Yeah.
of possibly hundreds of moleccules that they've assembled together.
Thousands.
Well, you know, I just
Maybe
saw
thousands.
some. I
Who
didn't read.
knows?
I didn't
Yeah.
read the article, but I saw one the other day because saying that vape pens, the juice, whatever you want to call it, has more. The headline was something along. It has more deadly chemicals than cigarettes. And
You think
cigarettes have
yeah.
over 500, 44 of which are known carcinogens. And I mean, you can look at the thing. Yeah, obviously, natural flavors can be composed of a lot of things, but when there's only 3 ingredients on this one, and we know
Yeah,
there's over
right.
500,
There's 500 in
there's
this one.
no way that can't be
Yeah,
clickbait.
even if all 3 of the ones are totally
Yeah.
bad for you, there's only 3.
Yeah, that's totally clickbait. Exactly.
There's only
And then I
3.
saw another one saying that they're making it out of these metals. Some kind of metals are being found in these vapes.
Oh, I saw something about metals being found in like the THC canisters.
Okay.
In
I said these are just
Colorado
headlines.
or
I didn't
whatever.
read them.
Yeah.
Well, you know, once they pass that bill and legalize propaganda, it's like the headlines on the internet have just like gone so
They're
south.
crazy,
They're
dude.
coming from the north now. You know, it's
They're
like,
crazy.
how did this happen? How did this happen, America? We need to turn this. We need to turn this bitch around.
They're
Well,
crazy.
either that or ride it right in the fucking rocks. But
Yeah.
what happens then?
Well, I think
Right.
I think we're running it into the rocks right
we're
now.
definitely.
And I don't think that I don't think there's really any coming back from this. We might be able to jump off this bitch at some point. And
But how does one jump off of it? Or come back? We can
the
go both
metaphorical
routes.
jumping off of the boat would be getting
Yeah.
off the grid. Getting on solar power. Having your own water supply, growing your own crops.
What about at a larger scale? How does America get off this fucking boat? Make sense? Obviously, it's not going to happen. We're just talking out of our
There's
ass.
So many of this.
There's just so many dynamics going
Yeah,
on, and
exactly
and
what
the
I was
fact
thinking.
that human beings are no longer even in control. I mean, we've relegated.
So we give them
we've relegated the responsibility for everything.
put them at the wheel.
To
basically robots.
Yeah, to robots. I mean, and I think that is the reality now, and maybe people are starting to recognize just how driven our society is by technology. Maybe not. I think that a lot of the technology that we have is very consuming to us and distracting, and that plays a huge role in our inability to recognize what it's doing to us, when it's doing it, those things to us, and how we're responding to it, and our continued slide towards this inability to come back with a response that's going to be equal in effect.
That's what I was saying.
To counteract it. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're not going to be able.
Yeah. That's what I was saying last time when you were like, I don't think we can stop it. And I was like, unless that we just like nuked all of our technology. Just go back to the Stone Age. Just everybody burn your iPads, burn your iPhones.
Or there was a solar flare,
or something like that.
that destroyed
Yeah.
the power grid, that destroys all of our electronics. Anything
there would
that's
still be a lot of but there's still be batteries.
what's that cage that you can build around an electronic
Faraday
a
cage.
Faraday
Faraday
cage.
cage.
So anything that's not protected by a Faraday cage will be fried in essence. And
Would a Faraday cage protect something from EMP?
from a solar flare, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that a lot of government installations and stuff like bunker type shit probably
Right.
Faraday cage
But
technology.
doesn't that beg the question, like, so they've been building these bunkers. They know something that we don't know, and
Maybe they just had or they just had trillions of dollars to blow.
And the conspiracy is all these bunkers are connected through underground,
I wouldn't be
underground
surprised.
networks, underground tunnels. So if they've developed all of this and spent untold trillions of tax dollars to build these installations that we will not be privy to when the metaphorical shit hits the fan or the literal shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's pretty interesting to think about all that and to wonder, the technology that is available that we don't even have access to, that's out there right now.
Well, I tell
And
people
it's-
all the time, like if we have we've had Google Earth now for what, like 10 years.
Oh yeah.
12, 13. I mean, we've had it for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
If we've had Google Earth for like pushing over a decade, come on, what does like the NSA have? I mean, They're probably here with us.
Well,
Like standing here with like fucking suits on,
Yeah.
like looking at us, like
Yeah.
okay.
Like
what do I-
these-
Have you ever
Dummies.
seen that? Have you ever seen that jacket some Asian fella made? It uses the cameras to reflect.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
To
So
play
you
when
kind
it's
of-
in front of you. Yeah, so it
Right.
looks
There's a-
blends right in.
there's a
It's a fucking Predator jacket.
There's a stealth fighter that I was watching a TED Talk today. There's a stealth fighter that has those cameras on the top of it and a projection screen on the bottom.
Ah.
So when it flies over, it's projecting the sky, and all you can see is the sky as
like
it
a
flies
shark.
by.
So the bottom's just like a screen.
The
Some
bottom
kind
is
of weird-
just a screen.
That's so weird. And it's probably like paper thin, like just an electrical, just some like a membrane that they can like just stimulate with electricity or something to make it a screen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the technology. I mean,
That's awesome.
It's just
It
we
is
don't-
pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just don't even know what's out there, and it's funny that there's like this there's always been this slow revelation. It's like, oh, now we have this technology,
Yeah.
and then like it takes quite a few years, and then oh, we have this technology. Now it's like every single day,
Yeah.
you can get on there and read about the technological advancements that are going on, and it's like, oh, they're doing this, and oh, they're doing this, and oh, it's it's ridiculous,
it's
man.
like we were talking about earlier. It's just exponential. We
I am in the caste system that cannot keep up with it. So go ahead and I'm
know.
obsolete.
that
Well,
sucks. It's a shitty feeling, but
Yeah, it really is.
at least you know it,
At
right?
least
Some
you know
people,
it.
no, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
They have that
Yeah.
ego. No, that's the good thing about jiu-jitsu, I guess. I've lost all the ego, so I know I'm retarded.
Yeah, for
I know
sure,
exactly
man.
what I can and can't do.
Definitely been humbled
yeah, I don't know.
on numerous occasions,
Numerous
just by
occasions.
these two guys
That's-
right here sitting
that's
in
why
front of
I-
me. You know,
Both of y'all to me too. That's why I wanted to go today, man. I wanted to get my ass kicked. I wanted to just. I
wanted
knew
to
I
go
would have been
so
better when I left. You know?
yeah, that new white belt, he kind of wanted to go. So
Which one?
So we went, and of course I still have the broke rib, and I did bust his lip.
Oh, you went today?
No, I went on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Whenever-
I was like,
Yeah. But you remember when you came over and he was smiling
Oh,
and he
yeah,
had blood
yeah.
all across his
Yeah.
teeth, and he was like, I fucking loved it, man. I was like, he's a keeper. He's gonna stay.
Yeah, that guy. It's a few months. He'll be kicking on.
Yeah. Guy, we don't know your name, but we definitely know
Yeah, I
your,
might,
your
yeah.
stature.
He told me
I'm mighting a little bit.
Yeah.
What is his name? I can't remember his name. Yeah. It'd be good if he sticks with it. He'll be good.
He'll be back. He'll be back Monday night.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we were talking about earlier. You were saying that the AI, it's just we've turned over to robots, but even long before AI is kind of taken over, we compartmentalized ourselves so much in a way. Like I had a thought and I was trying to get back on that track. I just kind of lost what it was. There's been so many sects of our society. My fucking microphone, man. We've branched off into so many areas that like if you cut the head off of one, it just keep going somewhere
That's the
else.
Hydra.
Yeah, and then of course eventually AI is going to do that too. It's kind of where I was going with the whole thought. Like we would literally just like an EMP or something. We had to, but then there's Faraday cages. I don't know. This is interesting. I'm curious about EMP and Faraday cages, just from an engineering standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you were sufficiently underground as well, it probably would. That just the earth acts as a Faraday cage, or just the rock and stuff and the soil.
Sure.
But yeah, man, just I think about that a lot. It's one of some of those movies like I Am Legend. Like I think the beginnings are always cool, where it starts off and it's like just one dude and he's by himself, like something crazy's happened. Just how fucking weird that would be. I was in the movie theater one time watching I Am Legend, and the part where he's going, the dog runs in the dark and he's walking through, and there's like a vault that's open with money all over the ground.
And he just walks
And he walks right by it, but somebody in the back goes like, "Man, pick up all that money." I was like, what's he gonna spend it on, dude? Everything's free. It's just like.
And that guy will immediately, once the shit
He's
hits the
dead
fan,
as soon-
he's
first to go.
gonna die.
First to fucking go.
I was like, he's trying to find his dog, the only friend he has on
Yeah,
earth.
the only other living thing
That's
he
the
knows
only
of.
thing. He just money, it's paper, it's toilet paper. I mean, I don't know. It was just interesting to me that somebody, and he was dead. Man, I'd pick all that money up.
I
Man,
think
that's a lot of money.
That's indicative of how immersed one can get in these movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So did you get to the point in the JRE podcast with like what was his name? Dorsey?
Jack? Let's just call him Jack. At Twitter.
Jack, okay.
At Jack. We'll call him
Jack,
at Jack.
yeah.
Because that way he's
at Jack.
At Jack. That's what he is.
Okay, so at Jack, he was talking about blockchain and Bitcoin.
Yeah, I saw him talk a little bit about that.
I think that's pretty interesting.
The Bitcoin stuff,
just
blockchain.
being able to shift the economy, from the powers that have always controlled it, the Federal Reserve, printing money on paper,
Yeah.
and then taking that out of there and creating, this new form of currency that
which could probably be infiltrated by some of those same people, or shut down, or maybe or something, or
I think there are multiple layers of deception constantly at play.
Yeah.
And they've layered it. I was thinking about this today about layers. I think they've layered it so much. We're probably only capable of seeing like certain degrees of deception. Like we get a layer here and then you put another layer on top of that. And I think that, over time, you have so many layers. You created the narrative, and the narrative's origin were false in the first place. It was a deception in the first place.
Yeah.
And so you've got things that are at play that you've put into play. You've got things that are at play that almost kind of like AI making its own decisions. The narrative itself starts driving its own reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Just reality is writing itself.
But its origins were initially a deception, And so I think that's where we are right now. That's why we wake up and it's literally like the Twilight Zone. In the 1950s, they had this very just simplistic view of what the Twilight Zone would be. But today we wake up and every single day it gets more and more estranged. And we're just like,
I think that's why the end of the world
really?
stuff kind of fascinates me.
Is this today? Really?
Yeah.
Like this is where we are today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why the end of the world stuff fascinates me, because it's like all that shit's gone, just
it's
like a clean slate. Even though you're by yourself, that sucks. It's just like, okay, no more bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Yeah.
There's no bullshit.
But do you want to? But do you want to be the lone survivor?
No. But I mean, like,
Not at all.
that's the only.
I don't want to
No,
be.
not
I
at
don't want to
all.
be put in a position where I have to watch my children die.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that keep me up at night. And make me sick to my stomach.
No. I'm just the idea of it. Like, something happened. It just it's like it literally. It's like it's. I think that's what's neat, because what you're saying is we're in the Twilight Zone. So it's just like a reset for everything, like just start this shit over.
Just start it all over again.
You know what I mean? It's like a flood kind of. It's like,
but don't you wish we could?
Kind of what the flood story.
Don't you
is.
wish we could pump the brakes?
Of course.
And reset.
But where do you pump? Who do you pump? Who pumps? Who's gonna be controlling?
That's what I was
pumping?
getting at earlier.
There's
Who's in
no
control?
There's no pumping the
Who's
brakes.
the brake man?
And what are our options? Should we turn it over to AI? We, like you said earlier, we turn the wheel over to them, and what do we do to help shape our future? I mean, is there something we can do, or is it all in their hands and we just have to see where it goes? If
we went to the altar of AI and bent a metaphorical knee, and said, "We relegate this to you, AI." AI would laugh at us and be like, I'm already in control.
Yeah.
You're what are you doing? Get up.
Do you think it's...
I'm going to make the decisions now, obviously, and when I'm ready for you to kneel, I'll tell you to kneel.
You'll know.
Does it do that in a way in a tyrannical way, or does it sort of take shape try to keep us dealing with things that we're used to dealing with? We're dealing with faces, people. Does it try to keep communicating through that, or does it take almost a higher being and just talk through the speakers, whatever it is? You know what I'm saying? Which way does it go in controlling us?
I think because to me it doesn't have a vessel yet, and I don't even know if it's self-aware or not. But to me, it doesn't have a vessel. So
yeah, I think it exists outside of our normal realm of perception.
It's like on it's on another plane.
I think it's on a different.
It literally is on another plane.
Like it exists on a different frequency than what we're attuned to visually being able to see.
Yeah,
and auditorily being able to really hear. I think
it's like a whisper kind of. It's just like in the background, and it's just growing, sort of. That's how I feel about it.
Well, you have the spectrum of waves, and we see in this very narrow band of invisible light spectrum.
Yeah, we don't see infrared. We don't see
it exists out here somewhere. And we don't have any ability to see it.
Yeah.
So that would lend itself to the whole idea that all the energy is the same amount. We just have to tap into it in different ways. So the AI is there. We just have to. We're figuring out ways to tap into it and on that wavelength to get it to where we can sort of we can address, we can engage with that wavelength, huh?
And I don't want to have a nihilistic view of things. I don't want y'all to think that I think that, you know, that it's just over with. You know, we just throw in the towel. I think we're still in control. I think you have to believe that we still have a choice in all
I think
of this.
we are too.
You know, I think we still have free will. And I think that if everybody recognizes that simultaneously and looks upwards.
That's what I think would have to happen. The earlier I asked, how do we get the wheel back? How do we get back on course? And I think it has to be a collective thing. And they used to talk
And
about
an
collective
individual.
consciousness.
And an
the
individual
individual each has to make that
Yes, sir.
collective decision.
Correct.
And that's a hard one to sell. I mean, that's a hard one to sell to 10 people, let alone, you know, billions.
Yeah.
And that's...
I mean, have you watched the daytime TV, the
No.
stuff that's on where you have like four,
I try not to.
like 4 women sitting at a table.
Dude, that stuff. I can't watch anything that tries to be serious like
Like-
that.
like-
I can't.
Just threw up in my mouth just even thinking about it. They just disgust
You
me.
make Ben leave. You're making Ben leave. Getting hot.
Oh, guys, I did want to say this. I think it's awesome, Ben, that you mentioned us all getting together next hunting season and going deer hunting together. I think this is a terrific idea. It's something that I've been wanting to get into
Cool.
for years now.
I would
what
love
made you,
to.
What made you want to do that? I mean, you've
Because
never done it.
I've been hunting before,
Yeah.
but not very much, and I've been really wanting to go hunt. And every season for the last few years, you just find reasons not to do it. Oh, this, and this. But I felt that commitment. If I made a pact with somebody, and it didn't, and if once again, I'm not asking anyone to go out of their comfort zone or whatever.
We're
if-
going.
I feel like mentally,
It's
if I
happening.
did it, if I made a pact with somebody, it would really cement the idea of me having to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to back out on that because
You want to go bow, rifle?
if I can
jump out of a
practice
tree
enough,
with a knife? What do you want to do?
the knife thing is best
Okay, cool.
is possible.
No, seriously. If you can practice.
Dude, I've got
Choke a fucking deer out.
I've got
Hip toss.
I've got a buddy down in South Louisiana, and he's from the Houma Thibodeau. He's from Chack Bay. He's from that area.
Yeah.
I figured y'all didn't ever hear about Chack Bay before, but
Chack Bay, no.
Chack Bay, yeah,
It doesn't sound familiar.
Anyway, so he lives outside of Thibodeau, and he's from out there, and he's one of those kind of guys that will go hog hunting.
Yeah.
and,
That was bare hands. One of those dudes.
He'll get down there with a
savage.
knife and just stab it in the neck.
Yeah.
You know,
Cut his throat.
yeah.
I've got a
He's
bow,
savage.
and if I can
got a bow. I've got a really
practice
nice
enough,
bow.
then I'd love to go bow hunting. But I also have a rifle, and I'm not against that. It's just
Okay.
if I can't practice enough, I'm not going to try to shoot it with an arrow. I don't have any desire to hurt one and have it run off and trail it for fucking hours. No.
I got a bow. My brother's he goes bow hunting sometimes. I've actually been with him. I just went and walked with him and sat. I didn't bring a weapon with me. It's fun, man.
But yeah, if we know any areas, any suggestions, and I'm not asking
Googled-
for anybody's hunting spots.
I
'cause
go-
everyone's.
I
super-
googled public lands. I've
Yeah.
got a couple of places bookmarked.
That's cool.
So
Awesome.
we
And
can-
once
we can
again, we
check 'em
can
out.
decide. We have plenty of time between now and then. We can go walk them, and then when it gets closer, you can walk to see if you find a sign or whatever.
Me and my brother actually went and did this not long ago. We went to a spot and he was like, I kind of want to go check this area out. So we parked our cars, walked to the woods. My dad got us some GPS things for Christmas, so we were like, messing with him and recording the trail and all that. And he's like, yeah, I kind of want to head this way. So we go there and we come up over here. I think I told you this. We came up over a hill. And there was like 5 of them running away. I mean, they were, maybe 115, 120 yards away from us, and they were running, and they were big. It was hard to tell if they were bucks or doe or whatever, but they were a grown adult deer. And we were like, man, that's a good fucking spot. So we walked down over there, and there's you could tell kind of where they were probably bedded down at. There's a creek that was about 50 yards away, with trails to it. And my brother was like, shit. And I said, what? And he goes, look. And there was a stand already there. We're like, well, somebody found this spot already. And it was a good spot. I mean, obviously, like, damn. Oh, well. But that's fun doing that, just walking through the woods.
And that's what I'm not quite that good at is being. Well, my first thing is the choosing somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's easy. You just fucking open a map and point and go to that spot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But my brain, I have to line this up. I got to figure this. No, you don't.
No, you
but
don't.
I have to convince myself to stop doing it.
So I'm assuming that that proper hunter etiquette. You can't use
Rip
someone
that
else's
fucking stand down now.
Yeah, it would be
Or
bad.
you couldn't even use it.
I mean,
if they're not there.
In the history of deer hunting, that shit happens all the time, I'm sure. But yeah,
The proper etiquette
would
is you
wanna
find your own
be
spot.
a half a mile out in the woods and some deer stand and some fucking methed up redneck comes out there like, what the fuck are you doing in my stand, boy? You know what I mean? With a rifle. Like, oh shit, you know, like, would you want to deal with that? Or just to be, you know, it's not really etiquette either. So, you know, I mean, he would be right to be pissed, but he may take it kind of far.
Yeah.
You know, he's both armed in the middle of the woods and he's screaming at you. Who knows, you know? Yeah. But there's lots of places to go all over. I mean, obviously, we're in Louisiana. Yeah. So we can go. We went one time after it snowed, and that was, you could really see. It was so, we were just driving. And you could stop and be like, look, and you could see like a trail just disappearing off into. You could see them really, really good. You know, and you get out and look around. Sure enough, there's a track. There's a track. There's a track. And they're all over the place. You can kind of see where the low spots are and where they go,
their little footpaths.
If you just kind of logically think about it, you go, okay, they want to probably be near water. They're going to probably sleep in those kind of conditions, you know, stuff like that. And you can kind of narrow it down. Yeah, you know. So it's not that hard. I mean, not that I'm an expert hunter or anything, but we've always found them when we go look for them.
Do you have a desire to bow hunt or a rifle?
I'll do either one. I've never deer hunted with either one. Well, I've got either, so I'll do either one. Yeah.
I'll have to buy a bow, but I'm definitely interested in learning.
Yeah,
you know,
I got a really
how to
nice
bow
bow.
Hell yeah. I like shooting it. I haven't shot it recently enough to be comfortable, but I used to shoot it a good bit more. So it was super fun.
Once you get it sighted in, man, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, I know letting go of the arrow when you're looking at a deer.
Yeah, that's what
totally
I'm saying. You need to,
right?
you need to. I think you need to practice that just like jiu-jitsu because there's a lot of different. You know, your muscles have to be able to do it. You have to be able to hold it. If you have to hold it back, it lets off a little bit. But what if you walks behind a tree? Now you got
to sit there.
have to come back here and risk it hearing you. You have to fucking hold it. Wait for it to come out, and that's a lot. That's stamina, you know, or endurance rather. Yeah. But and there's a lot of chance, you know, that you're gonna fucking wound it. You're gonna miss, and I don't like that idea. But plus, I would like to go for deer. Y'all ask that because I'm not trying to kill 48 squirrels and skin them all. There's not nearly enough fucking meat on a squirrel, on a little tree rat.
No. You make like soup out of them or something. I killed 15 squirrels. What can you do? Make some soup.
Not a fucking thing.
Eat a sandwich with it. Yeah. I'll probably still be hungry.
I worked with a guy. He's from Eunice, Louisiana, and every year, you know, he would be like, "Oh yeah, it's today's the first day of squirrel hunting season."
Yeah, people love squirrel hunting, man.
Well, I heard it. I mean, I've been when I was a kid, but I've heard people love it. They say it's great to introduce kids to hunting because it's so fun. You're walking around, you're shooting up, but
like I said, or something.
But like I said, it's not enough meat. The only reason I want to go hunt is for fucking meat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to try and kill like duck hunting. Yeah, it's fun. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, you know how much work and many you have to kill. Fuck that. No, I'm good.
Yeah. You got to have like specialized clothing for that shit too, and then you got to it's expensive. Like you got to buy, you know, all the. I guess you got to get, you know, decoys. I don't know with duck hunting. I just know that it's expensive. You know, I think with deer hunting, like we could just throw on our clothes and take our rifles and
just get out there really early.
Right.
You know, ideally, I mean, I'm not a. If you can go, because people get seriously into this stuff, they track them, they locate them, they figure out their moving patterns and all that stuff, and they know that they sleep over here, but at 7:00 in the morning they go 65 yards that way, and they drink usually from these 3 spots, and then they come back. So if I can get in while they're gone, and they're coming back, you know what I mean? Like that, they they time all that stuff.
Since the weather is still pretty cool right now, we should probably
let's go now.
Make some time.
Fucking go right now.
You know, just go out there.
We're bringing a camera with us. Just do the podcast in the woods. All right, we're all in the fucking woods now. We just cut right to it.
Yes. Hell yeah. The only problem with going now, and then find one when it gets hot and we have to let that place. It could change so much, and I've heard that before. Is if you find a good place, this place might be dog shit for the next 6 years. Because they may have just moved on. The population changed. Somebody killed the main one that was there that was drawing all the does in or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but it's fun. We could still do it. I'm down. Any of that stuff as long as I don't.
I like the woods, man.
I do too.
I like the woods. Do you ever go to the woods at night? Have you ever been in the woods at like 2 a.m. by yourself or like dark? Have you? That's some crazy shit, man.
I mean,
shine
I
a
guess-
flashlight off in the distance,
Well, I
just
guess, yeah.
trees.
Hunting,
It's
yeah.
fucking weird.
When I was probably about 10 years, no,
It's weird how
9.
the
I was
dark
actually
does that to us.
I was like 9 years
Yeah.
old, and we moved out west. We were living in Arizona. We were in northern Arizona. There's woods out
How
there.
old? 10?
I was like 10.
Okay.
And we were camping out there, and they my mom was married to this guy. He had some brothers, and I thought that they probably thought for me it was a rite of passage. So they were like, look, you got to catch some kind of like squaw dog or something. I don't even remember what they told
Just
me. but
made
they
some shit up.
Made some shit up, and they were like, "Here's a bag and here's a stick. You got to go out in the woods and you got to hit the stick on the bag, and then it'll run up in the bag, and then you got to close the bag up real quick." So we go out in the woods, and they got the flashlights, and we're going, and I'm hitting the bag. Well, then the lights turn out, and I turn around, and everybody's gone.
They're gone.
And we're far from
Who are these people?
This was my mom's husband at the time.
They
and
sound like assholes,
her
man.
brothers.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know.
They were assholes.
At very least, they're
Okay.
rude.
Okay.
I will say this: when we moved out west, he did teach me how to protect myself.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe. Yeah.
When I was younger, I had a lisp, and
Oh, really?
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. I said all my S's through my nose, and even my first name Phillip, I would say Snillip, and so
wow.
and everything on my nose. It was horrible, dude.
That could
Really?
be your rap name.
Snillip.
Snillip. Snillip.
That's a fucking good name, man.
Snillip.
Snillip.
So when I moved out west, dude, I was going to this public school, and it was nothing but like Latinos and blacks and Vietnamese kids. So I got
Stuck out.
I got my ass handed to me for weeks.
Damn.
Yeah. I was a white kid from New Orleans, Louisiana, living out there.
Yeah.
I was not welcomed. Nonetheless, he brought me I kept getting beat up. He brought me in the garage one day, and he was a Green Beret in Vietnam.
Oh, really?
And so he served something ridiculous, like 4 tours. Okay, he was out there, and he was like, "I'm going to teach you how to kickbox. I'm just going to teach you how to throw some kicks and some punches." And we went out and just hit the heavy bag, and I just got comfortable with hitting the bag.
Yeah.
And then one day, I was getting harassed in the hallway. There was 3 of them, and they went to jump me, and I hit one of them so hard I knocked him out, and I hit the other one, and the other one just ran. And everybody saw that in the hallway, and they never messed with me again.
That's usually all it takes, just to kick somebody's ass.
And literally, like overnight, I lost the lisp.
Really?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think it was some kind of
working,
like?
I was working on it, obviously, but I think a lot of it was, it was psychological.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. That's so
Yeah.
weird. You think it was
Yeah.
psychological?
It was definitely psychological.
Weird.
Well,
it was like
I had a hearing
defense mechanism for something.
I had a hearing problem when I
Okay,
was younger.
okay.
So I think it emerged out of that. And I had, multiple tubes in my ears, and I had a hard time hearing. I had a lot of hearing issues. Anyway, I just woke up and it was pretty much gone. And that's one thing that he did do for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I mean.
Yeah, he was a dick in a lot of ways. He was not a nice fellow.
Yeah.
But he did do that.
But he did that for you.
Yeah,
It probably
yeah.
changed your life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
definitely.
definitely
But they
changed
brought
your
me,
life.
but the story
Yeah,
earlier that I was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about, they brought me out in the woods,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I was looking for the squaw dog, and and I was hitting this bag, and then they turn the lights out, and I turn around, and they're gone. And so I had to like run through the woods trying to figure out where the campground was. And when I finally figured it out, they were, over there all, like laughing their
Laughing
asses
at
off.
you, yeah.
And I was pretty shook about it. But nonetheless, that was my first experience out in the woods by myself in the dark.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
The woods at night are crazy.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
It's almost scarier with a flashlight, like because if you without
Yes.
one, you kind of adjust.
Yes.
You kind of start to see the grayscale and all that
Right.
a little bit. When you have a flashlight on,
It's
like
all that's all you get.
See like this.
That's all you
weird little
fucking get.
beam, and you'll be like,
and when it goes away, it's super terrifying
and it's-
for at least a second.
and it's dark because your eyes are adjusted
Yeah.
to the light, and it's just like pitch black. But you'll be like looking around and be like, "Well,
You come across something.
the
what
fuck was that? Did y'all
Yeah.
see that? Did you? Well, oh shit! Or if you're by yourself, even worse. Like, because then your mind starts playing tricks on you and shit. But I don't know. It's kind of neat. It's fun to be out there. But yeah, it almost is better with just like have a flashlight just in case. But
Yeah.
Just sit there and get used to it for a little while. You can kind of see a little bit. You talking about defending yourself at school? My son did jiu-jitsu for like just, I don't know, 4 or 5 months when we first started. And we learned, we did this thing one night where we were standing up. I can't remember the drill, but you like get a elbow grip and a collar grip. And you like shift side to side and kick and like turn. Then you shift side to side and kick and like kick their foot and like steer their shoulder and their arm over. And my son, like literally like the next day he went to school. And there was a dude with a Leatherman jacket on blocking the door. And he wouldn't let my son in like English class or whatever. And he let some girl go by. And he was like, "Nah, man, you can't come in. I'm only letting the girls in right now." And he was like, "What?" And he like grabbed. I don't remember what happened. He went to go move by him, and the guy like kind of pushed him. So he said, I just grabbed his arm and his collar and just went, and just like boom, like knocked him on the ground. And he just like, I just stepped over him within the class. He's like, we literally did it the night before. And I was like, damn, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He said it was like nothing.
That's awesome.
He said he just went, Fripp, and the guy was just blam on the ground. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
And what's badass to me about that story is the fact that he just stepped over him
he said,
and ignored it after
over
that.
him, and his friend was
That's,
like, damn.
that's over and done.
Yeah. His friend, he said his friend was like, damn. He just stepped over him. He's like, never mess with me again. Dude, never even talk to me
Fuck
again.
yeah.
But we all got those stories. I remember one time I was in like 3rd grade and this kid was spitting on me. And I told the teacher and she said something like, well, why don't you just punch him? And I was like, damn, that's a good idea. So I just like ran across the field and tackled him and like did one of those like,
That's like one of the most effective ways to fight.
just like,
Yeah.
you never mess with me again. You know?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Anyway.
You see, I mean, you see memes now, or short videos of kids that do MMA.
Yeah.
And they'll be in a situation where they're being picked on, and they just literally hit the guy, kick the guy, punch the guy, take him down to the ground, arm bar him.
Yeah,
and it's
there was
just
one like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that, and the kids that are practicing this now are getting younger and younger.
Right.
So the guys who were, when we were growing up, that were considered badasses, they were really just glorified bullies.
Yeah, well, they just talk.
Not, there really weren't a whole lot of them that were doing any type of serious martial art or studying any kind of
ego.
Yeah, it was all ego.
Yeah, they're just
it was all
talk,
ego.
yeah.
And they were able to get by for the most part. On their either their stature or the intimidation factor, maybe their history. Maybe they beat up 3 or 4 kids, and so everybody's scared of this guy now. But now you got kids out there that are legit mixed martial artists that will kick your ass, son.
Yeah,
I love it.
I know, I
love
do
it.
too.
Yeah.
And then also too, the good thing about those kids is they probably don't have any desire to be a bully either.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, and in a lot of those videos, they're actually trying to walk away.
Yeah.
They're not trying to fight anybody.
Right.
And it's kind of like us. Like we don't have any real, except for maybe Ben in the line at Walmart, but we don't have any real desire to fight anybody. I look at it like this. I mean, I'm 41 years old. If you really want to get at me, dude, come to the dojo, sign the waiver, and let's get after it.
I don't want to do it
because I don't want to get sued afterwards.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get arrested.
I wonder how that would go. Like if you Americana'd somebody in the parking lot at the at the gas station in the morning or something because they were fucking with you and like ruined their shoulder or tore their elbow or something.
They would sue you.
Yeah,
Sure they
would sue you.
Oh, you do
And
jiu-jitsu?
They would win. They would get Rebecca as their attorney. And then she would be in there, and she'd be like, and I have firsthand knowledge of his
martial arts
abilities.
experience. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it would go very, very badly for you.
Yeah,
No,
I
think-
always wondered if
So
they could
just
use
shoot
that
them.
against
That's
you.
what you're
Yeah,
saying.
so
Just shoot
'em.
them.
Yeah.
And if you shoot them, make sure they're dead.
Dead
You
men
gotta-
tell no tales.
You got to
Fucking right.
You got to pull them into your vehicle while you're shooting them, and then you got to empty the clip, and then
Yes.
you got to tell them that I feared for my life.
Well, they say
I
either
feared
one
for
or-
my
Why do you have
life.
to empty the clip?
They say either one or all.
Yeah.
That's what I've always heard
Well,
for
one bullet or
self-defense.
all?
Yeah, either shoot once or all. Because if you shoot just a few, then you had time to think about it. You
Yeah.
like started picking your shots.
Yeah.
And It's not really self-defense
If you,
at that point.
if you tap 2 to the chest and 1 to the head, you
That makes
probably
sense,
not getting away
though.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's also too like I've had this conversation with people when they're like shooting a pistol. like their concealed carry pistol or like a target like 50 yards away. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, if you ever shoot somebody with a pistol 50 yards away, you're going to jail. It doesn't matter what's going on. You're not, unless they're aiming a rifle at you, you're going to jail. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you 15 feet, that's all you really need to be able to do. And under stress and moving, that's what you need to practice. Because, if you shoot somebody more than that, they have to be running at you with a shovel and be, you know what I mean? Like,
you ever do any kind of practice?
Yeah.
You know, get your heart rate up and then try to shoot.
I actually have. I've actually done like sprints and jumping jacks and stuff, and then like try to hit targets and stuff while I was like my elevated.
Did you do it a lot, like over days or weeks?
I probably done it
you got
maybe 20 times or something.
Well, that's
over like the course of a couple of weeks, just to just to do it. You know.
Did you get to where you could group your shots?
I mean, I always practiced like I was shooting somebody close, so it wasn't real hard. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't real hard to hit a paper plate or something size area like 15 feet away or closer, even closer.
Yeah, that's usually
like 5 feet away, like pulling and being like boom, boom, like real close. You know, just to see what it feels like.
Yes.
I don't know. I just figure if you carry a weapon, you should
know how to use
it. You
for
know?
sure.
Yeah, and keep it controlled under as much stress as you can give yourself, just like standing in the woods, you know what I mean? Like, you know, with nobody attacking you or anything. But I don't know. It was fun too. It was like a skill.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I went and watched my buddy compete in a 3-gun competition. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
Yeah, I know. That shotgun, pistol, and rifle.
Yeah. He did pretty well. It was the first time he ever competed. And shout out to my buddy, Chef Brandon Petrie.
Where do you do it at? Somewhere around here?
It was in Texas. Yeah. And there was actually 2 guys out there, and they were wearing shirts that had advertisements all over them. You know, like polo shirts, nice, like, you know, obviously
sponsored.
They're
stuff.
like they do this for sport, and they're sponsored. And he beat both those guys.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. How long has he been just shooting all his life?
He's been shooting all his life. Yeah. He's a guy that I told you that will take the knife to the boar's neck. Yeah.
Oh, that same dude.
Yeah, same dude.
Yeah. Well, we should go there. Let's go there. He's got a camp.
He would
or
love it.
Or
he would love it.
Land or something.
He's got land out there.
And
he's got metal targets. So you know, you go out there and you know you can shoot at them and you know ding ding. You know,
that's just fun, man.
And that's what it was at the
Plinking.
3-gun. Yeah, they would plink. Like he did this one that was you had to stand up on the platform and you had to take all these different shots from these different angles at different targets from different distances.
Oh, that's cool.
And at one point in time, he had to actually like switch hands. You know, so he had to shoot with his left hand to hit to hit this one target in the sequence. And he did exceptionally well, man. It was really cool to be there with him and be able to watch that. I videotaped all of it, so you know, it was cool. It was a fun experience. I don't know that I'm ready to do any kind of 3-gun competition, but I can tell you that that's definitely a.
I wouldn't be. I mean, like what I was saying with you, what you were just asking about. That's all I've ever really done. Just a couple of times with pistol and a rifle too. Have you ever done that? Like shoot, like move around?
No, not really. I've done a lot of shooting, but nothing back then. Whenever I was shooting, I wasn't going for anything. We were just shooting a lot of bullets. That's all it was.
We need to go shoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. Y'all ever been out to the pool at Livingston?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been out there?
No.
They got Livingston's old World War II base out here, and they've got a concrete pool that's almost the size of a football field. I mean, it's like shot to shit and back. And they're unfortunately they're getting more and more like, you know, you start shooting and like sometimes a forestry ranger guy will show up. I'm sure you actually where when you're assigned, like when you go out, where do you go out at? You go all over the place.
Yeah, I go. We don't have an assigned area. We don't.
They send you wherever.
Yeah, it's wherever
the
blows are. Yeah, it has nothing to do with any of that.
Do you have to travel ever to do that?
Yeah, sometimes we like this summer we'll probably end up going to Alabama, Mississippi.
Okay. You stay like in a hotel room or something.
We'll stay there for a week, and we'll go for a week, come back for a week, go for a week, come back for a week. Just depends on how much help they need.
Don't they have? They have a division of the forestry department that they will carry firearms, right? Or do you carry
law enforcement?
Do you carry a firearm?
Yeah, LPO, I think. Yeah, I think there's no. I can't carry a firearm.
Yeah, I've been out shooting.
Carry a firearm, dude.
Gotcha.
This motherfucker.
They're handing them out, and they're like, "Skip,
no,
Ben."
yeah.
No, don't get one, Ben.
No, that's law
Ben,
enforcement.
Ben doesn't need a firearm. Let's just be clear.
Well, you definitely, even if you carry one, you should have some kind of hand. I think you should. I mean,
For sure.
Well, like you said,
much as you can.
it's everyday carry.
Yeah, you don't ever. It's always on you all the time.
It's always on
It's
you.
on you all the time.
Yeah.
What if somebody grabs you before you have your arm? You know, before your arm. What if you need to get to your weapon?
Well, it also goes back to what you were saying earlier. Like you need to be very oriented to your weapon. If you're carrying a sidearm, you need to be able to draw that sidearm with precision and quickness.
Both hands.
Both hands. You know. So if you're
What do
gonna
you think about throwing your gun? What do you think about the guy fucking sneaks you?
It better be empty, I guess.
You just take it and throw it as hard as you can if you know it's just him. That way there's no chance he can get it and you just go into jiu-jitsu mode.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you pull it, he might get it away.
That's
you know,
true.
he might get it before you do.
That's true.
Sounds like a shitty move, but I'm just wondering.
It would probably freak the dude out.
What the f- was
yeah.
that?
Did he just throw his gun across the room?
Yeah, I'm going to kill you with my hands, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fear factor. Just start biting his fingers. Just throw the gun, bite his fucking arm.
I don't think I'd get rid. I mean, unless he's going at it. I mean, if it was obviously a fight,
Well, yeah.
then I got it away. And
No, it's probably a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get it away, though, I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it.
I'd probably do everything defensive to keep him away from the gun.
Yeah.
You know, while still trying to take his back, drag the arm, take the back. You know.
Yeah, man, arm drags. Well, that's what's so nice about just jiu-jitsu. It's not just stuff on the ground. You can arm drag somebody standing up, or whatever, wrist lock them, whatever. And I love it. 2-on-1. That's you don't have to. You don't just 2-on-1 somebody when they're on the ground. That's a concept you can use anywhere, all the time. You know, if they grab your gun. Okay, that's the dangerous hand, 2-on-1. You know, it's just something you just over and over.
And anybody that has a collar on, you can immediately lapel choke.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you can get your hands up in that in that collar, and just
yeah, they wouldn't know what was going on.
No,
they wouldn't know what was going on.
Like I think that if I was wearing a blazer or something one night and something happened and I absolutely had to get into an altercation, if I can't take the blazer off, I'm definitely grabbing the lapel. Like I'm gonna grab the bottom part right here.
That would freak the guy out. Grab both of them.
Has he got a gun?
Grab both of them.
No gun, dog.
Pull your rappels out and grab both.
Just start opening your shirt up, just unbutton that fucker. Like, what the fuck's he doing? What the fuck is he doing?
Oh man.
What if he does his too though? You know?
Oh, it's gonna be a
it's
fucking
on.
fight.
It's on.
There was I think it was Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he talked about a story.
Did you hear that story on Joe Rogan? Like two guys that were like
One
purple
of
belts.
his
something?
buddies, yeah. One of his buddies told the story where he was driving and there was some road rage, and the dude pull over, motherfucker. So they get out, and then when they square up, they sort of notice, if I'm telling the story right, that man, this dude's got a fight stance, and they start swinging on each other, and it turns into a straight up MMA fight. Leg kicks, checking, takedowns, knee on belly, guard, sweeps, and eventually they just stop and fucking high five. Later, guys.
Sweet.
He said they were both like purple belts in jiu-jitsu, at taekwondo. It had kickboxing experience.
Yeah, that's
it
awesome.
Just turned into like an MMA match. It's funny.
Can you imagine driving by that? What the fuck? That would be great.
Yeah,
that would be so awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I like the best part of the story is the end of it. He said they eventually just like, fuck, dude. All right, they're pretty evenly matched. They just kind of stopped, and they're like, all right, bro, well, good fight.
Yeah.
Glad we were able to work that out.
Work that out.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot better if we were able to work things like that out a lot more often instead of
Well, if we all fought more, like to do, train.
Well, what do you think about
the desire to
what do you
fight?
think
all
about
the
there'd be
time?
less conflict.
Yeah.
What do you think about required military time, just like they do in Korea and Israel and?
I think that you should have some type of required service,
Just something.
some type of service, civil service, even if it's something like with the forestry department or doing something with the Red Cross or relief work for a disaster. Something like that.
That's what I was.
How much?
Because I've actually heard this on Jocko on his podcast. They talked about required military service, and his take on it is he doesn't want to be in the command of a bunch of people who don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You want your soldier to be engaged and be a soldier. I mean, I think being a soldier is something that's inside of you, and maybe we don't all join the army and express it in that way, but you want guys who are there because they absolutely 100% want to be there.
Yeah.
Because you need that on the battlefield.
Yeah.
I assume I wasn't in the armed forces, but you go to a situation.
Tactically, it makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I want my soldiers to want to fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't want it to be compulsory and have a bunch of people there. And I'm not saying that Vietnam was like that, but I think a lot of guys got drafted that didn't want to go. And
But then they also didn't understand what the fuck are we doing.
I don't think anybody understood what we were doing.
Still don't. A lot of people are like, "What?"
And I think we probably still make a lot of the same tactical mistakes. Unfortunately, when it comes down to it, war is a business, and it's in order for those business entities to prosper and profit, we have to send a lot of really good young guys overseas to die. But I think that there's also definitely scenarios where we're absolutely doing something that's necessary for this world.
I like your idea of not necessarily military service, but like forestry or just something.
Just something where you have to go for a couple of years.
It's interesting,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Yeah. No.
I think it's better than sending these kids to these leftist liberal colleges. And
college is getting to where it's like, unless you get basically an engineering degree or something, and even then,
if you're going to do women's.
Kimbra's dead.
Are they?
Keep talking.
Yeah, if you're going to do like women or gender studies, and you're $150,000 in debt at the end with a degree that it basically you got you a job as a barista at Starbucks. You probably made the wrong decision. And I don't know that the value of your education is worth the sacrifice that you made financially and really, your time.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's a critical time waste.
Yeah, it's a critical moment in your life. Why not have some type of compulsory service requirement where once you turn 18, you have to go and you have to dedicate a couple of years of your life to a cause that you believe in, whether that's going overseas and engaging in a fight with a known enemy, or going over to different countries after they've had a huge disaster and helping the people recover and rebuild.
I'm gonna get batteries. I gotta keep talking.
Okay, something along those lines. I don't think it's a bad idea.
He keeps. He may have brought it up too, talking about the Forest Service, and I don't. When I think about required service, what I'm doing is I'm thinking I'm wanting people to be put in situations. I don't want to put anybody in harm's way, but if I'm going to put somebody in harm's way, I'm going to put everyone in harm's way. So we all have the same. It's not going to be the same experience, but the same basic experience of having to be counted on by your peers, having to count on people. You're building trust and stuff like that. And I just don't know how we do that with how we define that stressful situation. First off. But
I think you still have a standardized method though for their structure while they're doing the service. If let's say like you do forestry service, well, you're not going to be able to live at home and go sleep in your bed every night. I think it's stuff like that builds character. It's bringing you out of your normal element,
your comfort zone,
and exposing you to something that's out of the ordinary.
And that may work just fine. You know what I'm getting at is what I think is, as a child, and even now as a fucking man child, I don't think I ever went through a rite of passage as you said earlier. I don't think I ever had that, and that bothers me to this fucking day. It bothers me sometimes a lot more, and I've had a lot of time to think about it. But sometimes I feel like a fucking child. I have kids, and I still feel mentally like a child. Like something just hasn't clicked. Man. And
you've gone through. I mean, you've been practicing martial arts for how long? How many years?
A bunch.
No, seriously, how many years?
I don't know.
10 years?
18. Yeah, at least 10 years.
10 years. So 10 years of your life, you've practiced martial arts. Now, did you volunteer for the army and go overseas and fight in a city in Iraq or something? No, you didn't do that. But you did choose something that was difficult and required for you to go in and have all of your ego stripped down completely to absolutely nothing and build it back up. And that's really what I think the armed forces.
Well, yeah, that's the whole
idea.
Purpose
is to strip you down and to rebuild you, and upon that build ethical.
Yeah, get rid of the bullshit.
Build in ethical principles of character and learning how to become a focused, determined individual that works within a group that has the group you know, basically superseding your own individual needs. You know, you're focused on giving your energy to the group and the sustainability of that group and success of that group. You're willing to sacrifice everything for that. And I think that when you do something like that, you learn something very valuable. You know, I think that, you know, you went into MMA and you did something very difficult, and maybe it wasn't necessarily on that level. It's still something that is a character defining strategy. And
for me, I don't think I did it early enough. You know, and if we want to use the term wasted time, that's fine, but I don't know that's the right thing. But there was a lot of time between 16 and 26, I think maybe is when I started fighting, maybe 25, 24, I don't know. But there's a lot of time in there where I was sort of just drifting. I think I made those decisions. I decided I wanted to fight. I decided because I knew they were hard, and I think I was still looking for that rite of passage. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying we should force, maybe I am saying that, but I think about raising my kids, and I want them to have some. I don't want my son to go through 10 years as I did, and sort of then find his way at 26, 27, 28, and then maybe start feeling like a functional fucking adult. Where, you know, years ago it was whenever you're 18 you can, you know, get your license or whatever it is. But even something that simple was a rite of passage for these people. I know they didn't do anything hard for it, but mentally it was something. They looked forward to it. They were different at that point because everyone was like that. Everyone. It wasn't just, hey, dude, whenever you're 16, you're going to get this. Everyone looked at it a certain way, so it was that way. And I don't know that a lot of shit just wasn't important to me then, you know, like the drinking, you get to drink when you're 21 or whatever. Nothing was real important to me, so I never had that. And I searched and searched, even though I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't even know I was looking for a rite of passage. And that's what I'm wanting to offer people. That's what I would like. I think we should offer that. As a society, we owe people that, because that builds a better society. And once again, it's all just because I don't want my kids to get fucked up. I want them to have the best. But, and that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think that you're on a path of constant improvement. Yeah.
Yes, I believe so as well, and I hope so.
I believe that you're on a path of you're just constantly wanting to improve your situation, improve yourself as a person, improve your abilities as a father. And all of these things come together and they converge. And maybe, you know, you might have brought this to a higher level at this point in your life had you had a rite of passage when you were younger.
Gotcha,
okay,
yeah.
Maybe. But you still made these choices. And you're still on the path, and you can't change the past, but you can move forward and you can continue to strive. And I think that a lot of people miss out on that pursuit of excellence within themselves. You're on that path, man. You're on the path of excellence within yourself. So knowing that you can't change the past, you know what you're doing now that can maximize the potential for your future. Does that make any sense? Yeah. You know, and I definitely think you're on that path, brother.
Well, it lends itself what you're saying there to what, and I'm sure you've listened to it. Jordan Peterson talking about we say you can't change the past, but we definitely can because of the way we view it. And,
sure.
And whenever you're talking to someone about what happened to them back then, we can sit there and say, oh, well, this happened to you. This person did this to you. What do you think they did it because of this? We're just implanting ideas. Oh, I never thought about it that way. We're changing the past, and for the good or bad, I don't know. But I think about that a lot too. How I can change my past for the better. Do I want to change it? Definitely. The more I think about it, it's going to change no matter I want to or not.
Yeah, just change.
When you think about it, when you observing something,
right.
observed.
Just change your perception of it, though.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you do.
Yeah, and integrate it in a way that's going to maximize the benefits for your future.
Speaking of integrated, have you ever read any Robert Greene? He wrote the 48 Laws of Power. And
you know what? Somebody bought me that book.
You have it? Can I borrow it?
No, I don't have it, but I don't know what happened to it.
I think I have that one, actually.
But I did start reading that book. and I never got into it, and I never finished it.
God,
But
I've done that so many times, man.
but that is a very good book.
But he just his latest one is called Integrating Human or something like that, talking about our sort of our basic. I haven't read it. I want to get it. Oh shit! I don't even know I brought it up because I don't have enough knowledge of me right now. Never mind.
I assume everybody's read The Art of War.
Yes.
By Sun Tzu.
Yes.
yeah,
That's a timeless novel that I've probably
90% of it. I
So
don't want to say
so
I've read
check
the
this
whole
out.
thing. That's a lie.
You just said assume, right? And I have. You assume everyone's read the Art of War. What are a few books that you should, not that you're going to force your kid to read them or I should, but what do we think should be if we had to put 3 or 4 high school books you got to read before you graduate high school? Not what the fuck, not Harry Potter or whatever it is that's on their list of shit to read right now, but are there a few that...
The Alchemist
Okay.
by Paulo Coelho. Obviously, Catcher in the Rye, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Outsiders. Like, these are all books that I enjoyed when I was
See, and I can't read nonfiction. I just can't do it. I've tried. I can't do it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, fiction.
Fiction.
I'm sorry. I can't read fiction.
I'm not into fiction either.
I just can't. I try and I get 15 pages in. I'm like, none of this happened.
But I will tell you,
I can't watch it. Like, I just can't.
If you haven't,
None of that. That's a good viewpoint.
if you haven't read The Alchemist, it's an absolute must read.
I'm sure that it's, if you can really get into it, and I love the descriptive writing of fiction writers and stuff, and to paint the picture and all that. I can see it in my mind's eye and everything. It's just hard for me. I can't. I'd rather read like a
There's a quote from that book that I carry with me all the time, and it's and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's when you have a desire in your heart for something, the universe conspires to make it happen. So it's basically saying that you can. If you have something that a fire that burns inside of you, the world will come around you and formulate an outcome that's projected from your heart if you're willing to embrace it. And it's a story about a kid who does that, and it's an incredible read. A buddy of mine put me on it.
What year was it written?
I'm not sure. It's a fairly modern book, though. Paulo Coelho he's still putting out publications today.
Okay.
He's got lots of different books. I've read several of them. They're all really good, but The Alchemist is by far. I mean, I would say top 3 books that I've read in my lifetime. The Alchemist. Yeah.
What about you? What's on your list?
I don't know after that list.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Fucking coloring books. Shit. Man, I don't know. What I was thinking is something that's sort of along the lines of what I didn't think about it in nonfiction terms. That's a tricky one.
I can't read.
I mean, in fiction terms, that's a tricky. I love
fiction.
I love fiction and nonfiction. I bounce back and forth, and right now I've gotten to the point where used to I would read a fiction and then a nonfiction, but now I'm just reading both of them.
Yeah.
And I have different times a day I read them, but I have to read them differently. I have to be in different states of mind to read them. I don't. Man, I don't know.
I just like to read. I told somebody a while back, I don't read very much. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. Yes, I do. I read the internet all day long. I have books in my house. Anywhere I go, there's books. There's magazines at the doctor's office, wait for my oil to get changed. I read all the time,
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. What about you, Barrett? I mean, what would
Books?
you? Yeah, books.
Man, I haven't read a lot of like the classics because it's so hard for me to do it.
Me
It
either.
was so hard. Like when they would get assigned like the Scarlet Letter or something in high school.
Scarlet Letter was a good book.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just be like, I don't want to read about this girl. Can I read something else? Can I pick my own book and do a book report? I mean, sometimes you could or whatever, and but it has to be fiction or God.
You know what
All
I
right.
really didn't like reading was Shakespeare. I'll have to be honest.
I think more philosophy should probably be. I wouldn't want to read Shakespeare either. But
philosophy's good, though.
Philosophy. I think just teaching people how to think about thinking would be good
Yes.
when you're young.
Yeah.
Read some philosophy books. And-
What's crazy is that when I've always tried to read philosophy, I have a hard time understanding what I'm reading.
Yes, but maybe more just
Yeah.
it'd be nice if we could teach kids philosophy. I think at an earlier age too. You know,
just abstract thought
just
in
abstract
general.
thought in general. You know, just things about like looking at. I think it helps develop your sense of law and order, your sense of chaos versus order, your sense of searching for the meaning for yourself at a younger age, rather than you're in your 30s or whatever, and you're like life falls apart or something, and you're like, what do I do now? Like, why not teach that shit when we're younger? You know, like why? You know, nobody even usually has much philosophy until they're like 18 or 20 years old in college, and then it's like a 101 or something, and it's real quick. Yeah, you know, just Socrates and Socrates, whatever, and that kind of thing. Yeah, but really get people thinking about who they are, about their meaning in life, about finding their purpose, about what is the purpose. I don't know. Yeah, it may be deep for some kids, but I think it could probably have done a way where we could, work it into society. Because then I think if you find yourself younger, I mean, we've all heard that you can't know.
Or even if you don't find stuff, you at least start searching.
Start looking,
because most of us aren't, like I was getting at, I wasn't even looking. I didn't know to look.
Yeah,
I was into a lot of things, but I didn't even know that I could be looking. As silly as that, I didn't even know that I could be looking for myself. I was just lost. Yeah. And how many people are fucking lost, and how much better? It doesn't even
occur to you really to look to be like, who is Barrett or who is Ben? Until you're like I said, like one day your life falls apart.
Not.
Like,
it might not.
And maybe not even then. Or maybe your life doesn't fall apart. You just, I don't know.
You feel empty sometimes, and you just why do I just end up standing here for 15 minutes and then you just have these moments in time. Eventually, it's going to build up, and you're either going to snap at your wife or do some weird shit because you're missing something,
or you're so just into yourself, you just go introverted or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. That would be my suggestion.
Philosophy. That's
more philosophy, or that type of thought when you're younger. Like, hey guys, guess what? Not only is your dick going to get hard one day, and you're going to have to not know what the fuck to do with it. So here's the girl part and here's the guy part. Guess what else you're going to happen? You're not going to know who you are. It's going to be really scary. You're going to like question yourself and your existence, and you're going to think all these crazy thoughts about what do I want to do with my life and what do I want to do when I grow up. And
what age are we doing this at again? Because I was 6 when my dick first got hard. So.
Well, whatever, man.
That's about right.
At least before junior high. You know what I mean? Like, at least
Phillip, do you want to come to the board and work out this math problem?
No thanks.
Not today. Probably not for the next 20 years of my life.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
start humping pillows at 6. Why is it so fucking hard? What is this? And start crying.
You know what? Actually, Catholic schools do a little bit of that. Like, you have a religion class, and I remember ours was that she was a little more open minded. I can't remember her name, but we talked. She just viewed it through like, you're going to question yourself, and here's the Bible will help you figure it out. Like, that's kind of how she. But
even religion's more digestible if viewed through a philosophical filter.
Yes.
Instead of just because there's such a connotation with religion. You can't talk about religion. All right, let's talk about philosophy. We're just going to reference the Bible. We're going to reference Carl Jung, all these whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned here recently, past months, listening to Jordan Peterson talk about the Bible. Is I'm not a religious person, but I used to completely shut down. I would argue with people about religion, especially just because I felt like it was forced. Maybe the way I don't know why.
But the fundamental principles that we operate by are all they all originated through these stories that are told through religion.
Yeah, but we don't tell people that.
Right.
We'd say,
sure,
you're gonna fuck it. If you're not good, you're not going to heaven. Just like if you're not good, the Santa doesn't come, and you're like, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to buck that system.
Right.
Why don't you teach me that it's going to... You don't have to be super complex.
But it's a dichotomy in itself because you're bucking a system. Yes. When your modus operandi, like the underlying operation system that you're actually operating off of, like it's driven by these principles. Yeah. I mean, it's driven by these very simple stories that have always been around. They're timeless, and we like everything that we do, all the actions, all the things that we act out. These are all founded from religious principle. Maybe not necessarily,
Is it? See, to me, philosophy and religion are almost like chicken and egg conversation, because is it that people were looking for meaning in themselves and wondering, I'm talking thousands of years ago. And so they started to develop stories to give themselves meaning, or is it that they looked for a higher power and in the higher power found themselves? Like, you know what I mean? It's almost
Go over the second one again.
So if they just had no idea what they were, so they just were like, okay, there's got to be something that made us.
Where they're manifesting explanations for things that are unexplained.
But see, right, yeah, just different angles of why are we here at caveman days. So is it like philosophy developed first? Like, what am I? Who am I?
Well, I think that's what came first.
It was
the recognition of the id. The I. It was the first caveman that looked into a lake and recognized that was its reflection. The first caveman that first realized, like, I am a person, like I am like I'm an entity, like I'm somebody. We didn't walk around, when we first started this whole thing, when we were living in caves, looking in the mirror and dressing ourselves and thinking about what we're going to do and planning our our daily tasks through our our emails and our calendars. We were just operating like we are right here, looking at each other and not even realizing that we were in essence one of those people that we were looking at as well. Like there was no ability for us to reason this. So the literal reflection of ourselves in a pond one day, it was the epiphany that allowed us to recognize the id, the self, and from that, all of this has emerged.
Yeah, we're a weird thing compared to what we were, but we're not. It's almost like we're the same damn thing from 100,000 years ago, but we're not.
Yeah,
we're just something so different. But it's so crazy to me that of all of us, y'all heard a meteorite hit Cuba the other day. Right?
Yeah, you sent us. You sent us the link.
Right, I sent it to you. Yeah, I mean, if something just went like boom, and hit Alexandria and like destroyed stuff, and for whatever reason we lived, we would go back to that so fast.
Oh yeah.
Survival food, shelter. Survival food, shelter. I mean, I think we would.
Yeah.
We would try really hard. There are a lot of people out there that maybe are too, are they? I feel like I would at least be okay trying to do that. Whereas, like a lot of people, would a lot of people just collapse,
I think a lot more people would survive than we give credit for.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because we are,
I think that
in
drive,
essence, we want to survive. People just things want to survive.
Yeah, I think it's in us too. Yeah.
And it's more animalistic than we like to. We like to write it off as, oh, this guy just does computer work. He's not
right. Yeah.
No, people want to survive.
Yeah.
I think we don't. I don't give people a credit that they deserve, just because of our resilience.
Yeah.
But
I saw something one time. It aggravates me because history is weird too. Like, I think this was on Twitter. Some lady said something like, there was the immigration debate or whatever, and talking about, and she said, like, the Europeans came over here, and if the Native Americans hadn't helped them, they would have all died. And I was like, okay, so these people that built stone and stained glass cathedrals 400 years before they across the ocean in ships that they built using the stars to navigate, stocked it with food and all. They got over here and then they didn't know how to hunt and grow food. It's just like, come on, that's not history.
Yeah.
And so it's like you said, we underestimate people. I mean, they wouldn't have died if they came over here. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, if anybody died, it was the Native Americans.
Exactly, but people had this like idea that they came over here and if they wouldn't have helped them, they were just these people that helped them grow corn. If they wouldn't, they would have died. And then they slaughtered them all. No, that's not what happened. They came over here like this, shit. They just grew and lived, and they fought, and some traded, and shit happened. You know what I mean? Like,
I took an anthropology class on Native Americans when I was in college, and one of the first things that we learned was about the European colonization of the United States, or, North America at the time. And when they came here in let's say the traditional history is the 1400s, but I mean, there's probably revisions to that are gonna emerge that Europeans came here way before that.
They've like everywhere. There's like some stone or something they found that has Roman writing or like similar to Roman writing that they think is like 1,000 years old or something, or 4,000 years old or something.
I think the history that you're told is not the history that.
Well, we can't know everything. I mean, maybe,
right.
Some cataclysmic thing might have wiped out.
But when
that history.
But when
the
Europeans came, they brought so many pathogens with them that they were probably completely unaware of.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
The Native American
population.
A lot
of times they're they gave them smallpox blankets, but
and they they
may have, but they didn't know what that was at the time. I mean, there was very little. They couldn't see the smallpox. They had no. I mean, they knew about germs. They knew about a few things.
They didn't know germ theory yet.
They didn't know germ theory. They knew that they looked through these series of lenses. They could see little tiny things crawling.
I don't think that was until Louis Pasteur in like the 1700s.
Oh yeah, 1600s or whatever. Yeah, Galileo was like 1600s. Yeah.
But
I think you're right. 1492.
They were looking at the heavens though before they were looking down on themselves.
Yes, I'm getting my years. So at that point in the 1400s, they didn't know.
They had no idea.
They had no idea. Yeah. Right? Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they may have known that there was something to those blankets having, maybe some kind of infection. Not they wouldn't even call it an infection. Maybe they would call it like a. It has the plague,
right? Yeah, plague or something. Yeah,
but they know that it was tainted, perhaps. And maybe they knew that. We're implying a lot. First of all, we're implying that we actually saw them hand over blankets.
Yeah.
I mean, is this written somewhere?
Yeah.
I think this is just a contrived story that was thought up, and it's just been kind of one of those things that's been passed down as like hard knowledge, hard facts.
Maybe it was nice. Maybe they were like, "Oh, you people are freezing. Here we have all these blankets.
Got these blankets. Y'all got some turkey. Let's make this happen."
Yeah, fuck it. You give us a plot of land, we'll give you all these blankets and and this milk and shit. You know what I mean? You ever had European milk? Some good shit.
They're like, what's that? Oh, we had that too back in Europe. All that stuff breaking out on your face. Don't worry. Only about 4 out of 10 people actually die. You will be permanently disfigured though.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But on the bright side, we're here. So
right, yeah. But they didn't even figure out what year did they find out
we're a lot whiter
the plague. What year did they find out that the plague was fleas? Right? Was it fleas? You're like the major one.
Oh, like you're talking about like the Black Plague?
Yeah, Black Plague. Was it fleas?
I think it was rat feces in the water supply or something like that. I think
maybe there's a couple of them.
Maybe so. Dude, I mean, I could be totally off. It
was definitely rats, but I heard fleas from rats.
But I know that every now and again, like they'll have like 1 or 2 cases of plague like out in Arizona every year, and it's because someone comes into contact with tainted feces from a rat.
Tainted feces.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a death metal band right there. If I've ever heard one.
Man, how bad does that
tainted feces?
Because isn't all feces tainted? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How bad does it have to be considered?
Tainted what?
Tainted.
Well, I mean,
there's shit on everything.
I don't think all feces has aspartame in it. It's only weaponized feces.
Always weaponized poop.
Wow. How do we get on tainted feces? Oh, I know why. Plague. Right.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. How long have we been going? Can anybody see that over there?
Let's see.
I just broke up the conversation.
No, that's okay.
1 hour and 53 minutes.
Okay. I was just curious. I never know if it's better to check or if it's better just to talk. You know what I mean? And never look. And, Jesus!
Jeez.
Hey, guys.
Wait. Yeah.
Did you say something?
Yeah. The microphone's turned up so hot that the headphones are so loud it fed back in the microphone.
Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with the whole time now.
It's really you can turn it down.
No, I'm joking. Okay, we got it perfect before we even started.
Okay.
What makes you like? Not just to jump to something else. What makes you like Neon Belly so much? Is it?
I think it's just something that just comes natural.
An asshole.
Yeah, I'm an asshole.
Well, there's that. Arrogant asshole.
No, well, the thing is that, I get into side control and then, people start bouncing around. And so I can slide that knee in and it helps me control a little bit better. And I mean, it's just kind of worked me into different transitions. I mean, that used to be my that's all I did, you know, and y'all know that.
Well, but you got to go through that. You got to figure. You got to go. Okay, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Where can I go from here?
Yeah.
But you got to do that for a while.
Well, you know, it's funny because the very first time I was ever put in Neon Belly, I was rolling with Coach, and I was a very brand new white belt. Never been, you know, put in that position before. And he was actually having a conversation probably with you while he had me on Neon Belly, just, you know, talking very casually. And I'm here. I'm like, this is a move. Like, you can actually do this to somebody. And I tapped and I didn't you know, because you don't know at first. Like, you have the traditional things where, like, you know, okay, I know if I'm getting choked, I need to tap. I know if, you know, my arm's extended out here and it's about to break, I need to tap. But you're not going to like tap. Maybe something's uncomfortable, but you're like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to tap to that. I don't know, you know. And so you're still kind of learning when to tap, because you still got that bravado, like, I don't want to tap, and you know, I want to kick this guy's ass, and you're getting your ass kicked, and they're putting you in a very uncomfortable position, and you're like, am I supposed to tap to this? You know, and so you're still trying to figure that out. Coach had me on Neon Belly, and Coach was not exactly you know, trimmed down to his, you know, 199 or 198 state that he's in right now. He was probably a little closer to like 230 maybe. Like, Coach was big when I first started, man, you know? And he's trimmed down significantly, but he had me on that Neon Belly, and I was just like, holy shit. And when I first put somebody in it, and it, you know, it worked for me, I just, you know, continued to try to develop it. And I don't really, like, I'm not trying to finish anybody with that unless you're a white belt, you know. I'll try to, you know, put that on a white belt just to let them know that that's possible, and then keep it moving. But it's a transition move now, you know, more than anything else.
You know, I was thinking about that, and I think you can watch someone's jiu-jitsu, and you can tell a lot about their personality by their jiu-jitsu, like the Neon Belly thing, like that. You just see he keeps going to the back. He keeps pulling guard. He keeps doing this kind of guard, you know. And I don't know what it is you can tell about their personality, but I do think that if you look deep enough, you can tell a lot by their game, their jiu-jitsu game. And you know, I was just wondering, what about you? Any
like favorite position or something?
Barrett's all about the sweep. I find
sweeping
Barrett
people.
likes setting up the sweep.
It's my favorite shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. I just like getting on top. I like going from the bottom to the top. I think that's a useful skill for all kinds of situations.
Sure. Ben likes that anaconda, I think. I feel like Ben really likes that.
Yeah, the
choke.
anaconda, darce.
Those, you like that.
I like those, but I really like the idea of butterfly hooks.
I do too.
I've been trying to work that more.
I love butterfly, dude. Yeah.
Hooks, they get me out of a lot of shit, and they throw people off balance so quick. And you know, whether it's just one and they're passing, everything's passing. You got that one, you can lift them up. I really like hooks, and I'm trying to utilize those in different ways. But yeah,
you and Ricky have both been doing that to me when I roll, so I've started to kind of work on it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
would y'all participate in a tournament if they had one like? Yeah, obviously we've done the GU tournaments where all the GU can go, but if it was just like us and you know, Ball or Red River and Leesville, would y'all participate in something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably would. Yeah.
I know we did one just in our school a while back. Were y'all there for that?
No, I didn't do it. No.
Yeah. I mean, y'all were both there, but I don't know if y'all participated.
I didn't go to the tournament. I don't know why I didn't. I don't remember. I was around.
I was injured.
I don't know why I didn't.
I was coming back from that pec that got tore.
Shit.
Yeah.
I actually haven't ever competed. It's just, never.
No desire. You just haven't got around to it.
That's never really. It's not why I started doing it. Like I didn't even really realize the competition side of it when I started. I knew that obviously it's a sport. There's going to be some type of competition involved in it, but I didn't really, I didn't know how big it was or what the deal what it was, other than like watching some YouTube stuff. So I just got to I got to lose some weight, get in shape, learn a skill, get my cardio better. I just kind of liked it, the idea of martial arts, self-defense, stuff like that, But it'd be nice to do it, I guess.
Some people just don't have that desire.
I'll compete again. I feel comfortable just being in the room with guys and helping sharpen them as they sharpen me. and having them go out to competitions and
Yeah.
do well. And it's like, okay, well, this guy's going out to competitions and they're doing well, and I'm able to maybe help them become better, and they're making me better, and just being able to revel in their victories is satisfying for me. You know,
I got you.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Like I've never competed, but Tim's competed like 50 times, and I've rolled with Tim like 100 times. So I mean,
Right.
I feel like and he's done really well. So
Yeah.
maybe him choking me and breaking my ankle a few times, and it's
Right.
kind of helped him get to that point.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah, really, with anybody that competes on a regular basis. Tim, I know, Coach Ricky competes. Coach Christos competes. I think Ben, you really should compete, just so you can see how good you really are at this purple belt level.
I did compete and I lost.
But when was that? Like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I don't know, something like that.
It was
whenever I first got I think I just got my purple belt.
So
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Maybe. No, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
You
I can go back and look.
You were a purple belt when I started, I think. Weren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Were you like a no stripe maybe when I started? I can't remember.
Yeah, you were no stripe when I started, I think.
I would like to, but I don't feel that I have the time to put towards training. That should I compete? Obviously, I can go tomorrow to a fucking tournament and compete. It's
Sure.
not that big a deal. But
you take it seriously.
In my mind, yeah,
I do too. Yeah,
we used to have guys in MMA who would, I would train my ass off. Like I stayed in shape to fight, but I would train for like 8 weeks for this fight. And we had guys that would come in the maybe at the very longest 2 weeks before the fight. I'm ready to fight, and they're gassing out, and that just always baffled me that you're gonna go put yourself in a pretty dangerous situation.
Yeah, that's serious.
And
Man.
you're
Competing's
gassing out here and pretty quick.
Right.
And the bad thing is sometimes they'd win.
Yeah.
I don't fucking need to train. God damn it. I had some good friends like that. It just always baffled
It's
me. But yeah.
that positive negative reinforcement.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like I can train enough. I can't devote enough time. But that's all a mind game. Like I said, I can go probably today and compete.
Yeah.
Might not do all that well, but I could do it and not have a physical problem.
No,
Yeah.
man. I mean, even if you went to a big, it'd be like 5 rolls or something.
Yeah.
That'd be like a big one,
Yeah.
I think even just exercising the competition muscle, just getting out there.
That's what I miss.
Just
See,
getting out
I've
there
never
and
done
competing.
that. So
Yeah.
it's kinda, I mean, well, not with jiu-jitsu. I've done other stuff. But
Yeah. Well, we talked about my apprehension before class, my apprehension before tournaments.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty mind racking. And then of course, both of the GU tournaments that I competed in, I had to drive to Hammond from Alexandria. And so you leave early in the morning.
Yeah,
and you're in that
that's
drive.
an interesting thing too.
Yeah,
and you
and
deal with that the whole way.
yeah.
I'd have to sleep
Yeah.
there. I'd probably have to sleep.
The tournament that I did the best in, I rode. That was a tournament that I rode with Coach and what was the name of that Guido, the purple belt.
Guido.
Yeah, yeah.
Guido actually helped me on some he like.
Oh,
worked with me a
Guido
lot.
was
Yeah,
Guido was
awesome.
cool, bro.
Guido was
I
cool
like
dude.
Guido. He was cool. Shout out to Guido. I don't know where. I think he's in Florida.
That's
yeah.
where he went. That's where he said he was going. Yeah, and he's been on Facebook and shit.
But that was I did the best in that tournament, and in I think, and I hate to say this, but when Tammy comes with me, I feel like there's like this extra pressure because she's watching me, and I don't think I perform as well when she's there. And I hate that I just said that on the air. But I
man,
love her because I mean she really supports me.
Well,
in
feeling
every way.
disappointment. Yeah.
Well, you want to do good for your woman.
I want to do well.
You want to
and
kick
I-
this dude's ass. You don't get your ass kicked for
get
your
out
girl.
there and I got out there and Doc ripped my pec off my humerus bone. But it was pretty reassuring how well Doc went and won worlds, and he's like one of the best guys in the world, and at my age and rank. So
at least you got your arm.
at least I got my pec ripped off by that guy.
Worthy guy.
It's not a white belt.
Right. At least it wasn't a white
Freaking
belt.
out.
Yeah. Or the new white belt.
Spartan.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna try to compete in March, But
Well, that's cool.
But have you registered with IBJJF?
Yeah, because I think if you haven't done that yet, then you can't.
You can't do it. Yeah,
serious?
it's a serious credentialing.
well, you have to register. But I mean, that takes like 2 weeks or something, right? Or a couple
No, I
weeks.
thought there was
No,
a deadline to
there's a-
compete
Oh, is it?
for
Yeah.
March 2nd. You had to do it by like January
Oh, well, I
25th or
fucked up.
something.
Yeah. You have
I just
to.
figured it was like you just kind of could do it at the last minute.
No,
Oh,
no,
oh well.
it's all good.
Okay, I guess I'm not competing then. I'll probably go.
We're actually. When is it? It's March.
March 2nd. I
March
believe.
2nd. See, we're going to be in California.
Yeah.
We're flying into LA. We're going to stay in Newport Beach for 2 days, and then we're going to drive up to Santa Barbara, and we're going to stay up there for 2 days. And then I haven't gotten the reservations yet in Hollywood. She wants to do the Universal Studios, Venice Beach, Hollywood thing. So I've been looking at. I don't know if you guys use Airbnb whenever you go places,
I have,
but
yeah.
but you basically pay the same price for a house that you have access to everything in.
Yeah.
Even a house like the house that we have the one in Newport Beach. It's a 2-bedroom home. It's like just a short walk and you're on the beach, and it's right off of the Pacific Coast Highway. It's pretty much the same price as a hotel room.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little bit more, but I mean, you have access to a washing machine. They have 2 bikes in the garage that we can use. We have a garage that we can use.
How long? What's the shortest time you stay in Airbnb?
We're doing
Stay,
it.
yeah, you can stay in a day.
Yeah,
And they have food. Do you have to go grocery shopping?
Oh, you have to go grocery
So you
shop.
get your own food,
You get
okay.
your own food. We're staying 2 days in Newport Beach, 2 days in Santa Barbara, 2 days in Hollywood. So
Oh, that sounds cool.
That sounds fun.
When are y'all
Yeah.
doing this? That they're in
we're
March?
leaving. Yeah, we're leaving like February 26th.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man.
Yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be cool. Yeah, you can stay like a day or a month,
Okay.
or whatever. You just pay for it. Yeah.
And you can
right.
you could rent a bedroom out at somebody's house. They'll
Yeah, I've heard of that
they'll
too.
rent it out for like $60 or $70 a night, and you'll have like a nice room in a nice place somewhere in a decent part of town.
Yeah.
And it's like staying in a hotel. You're staying in somebody's house, obviously, but. You don't have the maid knocking on the door at 9 o'clock. Room service.
I've never done the room in a house.
Yeah, the room one sort of
That's actually not true. We
that's
stayed in a
kinda
like
weird.
a like a
A
it
bed
was
and breakfast.
It was separate. No, it was just they had converted, like they had the first floor and then the second floor was like an apartment.
Okay.
And so you had your own entrance.
Yeah.
That's what I was
saying?
gonna ask. So when you're there and you're just renting the room, or you just like
I've never done the
hanging out or passing by these people in their
I've
home?
never done the room, but we've done several bed and breakfasts where you go to an antebellum home or a plantation home or a large home like a mansion of some sort, and you stay in a room, and they have like all the rooms are named. So they have different accommodations. Some of them have double beds, queen beds, king beds. Some rooms have a large bathroom with a jacuzzi tub, and some of them just have a shower, or maybe not, they don't even have their own bathroom. They have to use like the common bathroom. But
Or you can stay in a 15-room house on a lake with 7 bathrooms.
and you could bring like
Yeah, I
4
mean,
couples with you, and all of you guys could stay in this pimping place
with like a boat and a
you know,
launch and
right,
shit.
right,
yeah.
and you might have
It might be
$600 a night,
Right.
but you're going to split it between you and
15 people. You're
or
good to go.
yeah,
Yeah, you get
they
8 or
usually
10,
have
50
a maximum amount of people, like they'll allow you to
Yeah.
stay there, but
And sometimes places like that, and I would imagine even small ones too, occasionally will have like a minimum stay period. Like you got to stay 3 days.
yeah, we had to do
something
at
like
least
that.
2 nights.
Yeah.
So that's why I did, because we wanted to spread it out. We actually wanted to drive up to San Francisco, but the drive is from Newport Beach to San Francisco is like 12 hours, and that's at least 3 hours probably just driving through LA itself. So we didn't want to spend an entire day driving up and an entire day driving back. So San Francisco, we'll do another trip because we really want to go to Monterey. I don't know if you've ever heard of Monterey.
I've heard,
it's south of San Francisco. Santa Barbara is like probably halfway in between LA and Monterey. Maybe it's probably closer to Monterey. Probably like 2 hours from Santa Barbara to Monterey, but Monterey is just absolutely gorgeous, and of course San Francisco is beautiful too. And then the Pacific Coast Highway, going up into north of San Francisco, up into into like those areas, like into Humboldt County, and like it's a beautiful drive, man. Just looking out on the coast, like Mendocino County. It's just
I bet it is gorgeous.
Man.
I mean, I've googled images of it, seen video, and movies and shit all out there.
It's just
beautiful,
incredible, dude.
Yeah. I was in, I think it was near San Francisco, I think, where we were. It was about 2007. And I was on the 9th floor of the hotel, and I just got back from jogging. We were in California, and I was by myself. I was dozing off. I'd take a shower, and I was dozing off on the bed, kind of dozing off, and I felt like, I thought, you know how you fall, you fall when you're going to sleep. You get like you jolted, and I was like, man, that was weird. That felt really, and then I laid back down, and I was wide awake at this point. And all of a sudden it goes boom, boom. And I looked up, and the closet doors were mirrors, and it was shaking. And it was in a fucking earthquake. And I was like, oh shit, this is an earthquake.
Fuck.
And I was on the 9th floor, and you have no idea if it's just going to do it a couple of times, or if it's going to turn, or if the building's about to fall. Like, you have no clue.
Yeah.
So I literally had on like underwear and a t-shirt. So I just like grabbed my jeans and like ran out the hall, like putting them on, like 9 flights of stairs down while it was going like shaking and stuff.
Oh man!
Got out in the lobby. There was people like in their underwear, like robes on, and just like, and nobody. And like, how bad is it gonna get? You have no idea.
Where did y'all go?
We just went out to the lobby. Went out to the lobby and kind of went outside on the street. Yeah, and we didn't last but like just a minute or two. Yeah. Like I think halfway down it kind of stopped. Yeah, but you don't have any idea. You have no idea. It may go boom, 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 or it may go boom, all of a sudden the building may just fall. That
fucking old video of the bridge.
Yeah, that kind of
fucking
stuff.
Jiggly. It looks like rubber, but it's for sure real.
I think that's Wind that did that one.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think wasn't.
Well, whatever it was, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it reached like some kind of like frequency that with the wind. It's perfect for the length and all that, like a string on a guitar.
Yeah,
it just started waving. Yeah.
When I was living in Las Vegas, they used to make announcements. There's an underground nuclear testing site north of Vegas.
Yeah.
And they would make announcements on the radio, and they would tell you, at Saturday night at 11 o'clock. They're going to be detonating something nuclear underground, and it's probably going to generate a small earthquake on the scale of like 2.3 on a Richter scale, something very, very small, so small you won't be able to detect it, but you could put your ear down to the ground and you could feel the waves.
Yeah.
Okay. If you put your ear down at the time that the radio station announced. So fast forward into me being in college, and I'm taking this nuclear science class, and they're talking about the problem with nuclear waste, right? You put these rods in this water, and the water becomes radioactive, and they don't have any places to store this water. So they were talking about this place that was somewhere, I think maybe northeast or northwest of Las Vegas, a series of
like out in the middle of nowhere
mountains, and they were like, and it's very tectonically stable out there, and so they can store it out there and not worry about about it spilling for tens of thousands of years. Okay, so then I go out to Vegas with my dad and his wife, and we're out there for a few days, and same thing as you. I was in the hotel room, and all of a sudden, like, the room starts shaking. Now, when I was living in Vegas, we never had earthquakes, man, never. Okay. And then all of a sudden, like, there's tectonic activity happening in Vegas. And so I'm immediately thinking, like, I wonder if they decided to store that radioactive water in those mountains like they said they were going to in class, because this place is clearly not tectonically stable anymore.
Not anymore.
And, I mean, I'm sure just years and years and years of blowing up nuclear bombs underground probably disrupted the tectonic stability of that region.
They did some of that in Mississippi, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the salt mines or something, like close to the border of Louisiana. I think I remember reading about it. Yeah, like 40 or 50 of them. I mean, it's like not just a couple. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm lying about how many. Maybe it was just a few. But we
used to shoot nuclear or atomic missiles or bombs into the ionosphere to try to blow the ionosphere away. I mean,
why would we do that? What's wrong with
Why would we do that?
Why would we be so smart that we could figure out how to blast a nuclear weapon into space, but did not smart enough to realize that maybe we need the ionosphere, or maybe let's not try to get rid of it. Did we really do that? Why the fuck did we do that?
Honestly, I don't know the rationale. I just know the story, and I just remember like thinking to myself like,
Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that.
yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Did you hear that conspiracy theory a little while back about the earthquakes that happened, I think, up in the northeast part of the United States, like just 2 or 3 years ago, maybe? Do you know what I'm talking about? They had some kind of, but they were very, like when they showed the printout of the seismograph, it was just like a really bad, and then it just faded away. Like, and then so some people said that looks like the graph from an underground nuclear weapon. Yeah. So maybe that's because it would just be like boom, and it would just go and fade away, and that was it. And that was the earthquake.
Right.
People were like, that's not a fucking earthquake. That's not what the earth does. It does.
Right.
It shakes and stuff. You know, there'd be a couple little, and so there was this theory that they were the warring factions of the United States government were the underground shit we were talking about earlier. Were like one of them set one off because it was near an area where there's supposedly some underground, system that's relatively well known because it's military based stuff. But then there's probably lots more or whatever as well.
Well, you guys have heard of DUMBs before?
DUMBs?
Deep underground military bunkers.
Yeah. Okay.
These are the complex military installations that they have like under the conspiracy theory is they have all of these deep underground military installations, these deep bunkers. Mm-hmm. One of them's under the Denver airport.
I've heard that. I've heard the Denver airport.
In Denver airport, they have a lot of very obscure paintings on the walls when you're walking through Denver airport, and it's a lot of like starving children being thrown into into graves and guys who look like Soviet soldiers with bayonets, like with kids on the tips of them. Just it's abstract art that's on the walls in the Denver airport that they just so ironically have the conspiracy of these bunkers, and these bunkers are supposedly they're connected, and there's bunkers all over not just the United States but all over the world, and they're all connected in this vast array of underground networks. But anyway, I always thought that was a pretty cool conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it is weird though. Yeah. And I think haven't they? I want to say, do you know what he's talking about? Have you heard that before?
About the Denver airport?
The Denver airport one?
Vaguely.
Okay.
Vaguely.
I was curious because I want to say that there's actually like a little bit of like, some engineers or something had maybe said like, yeah, well, we built some rooms and hallways and stuff, but they kind of didn't get real. I may be making that part up. I want to say because it's such
you didn't see Jesse Ventura. He had a TV show for a little while there.
The show.
Conspiracy
I
theory.
think maybe that's where I learned it.
Brown bunkers.
That may be where I learned about it. That actually may be where I'm thinking I heard it.
No, dude, I love that guy, man.
Yeah.
What's really cool is you see him on shows, and he's like, I'm trapped. I live down in Mexico now. I'm off the grid. This guy just he was a pro wrestler. Okay, then he becomes governor. I mean, he was
a Navy SEAL too.
Well, he was actually one of the very first, frogmen. When that's what they called them, frog. I think frogmen back then or whatever. Yeah. Do y'all remember that the court case that was going on because Chris Kyle, sniper for the Navy SEALs, highly decorated, sniper, and
the one they made the movie about.
The one they made the movie about and everything. He actually, I think he either put it in his book. Yeah, I think he put it in his book that he had gotten into a bar fight with Jesse Ventura and punched him in the mouth, and apparently like that had gone to court, and this is actually extended past the time because he died, and then of course Jesse Ventura felt like that was it was a defamation of character, and he took it to court, and after he died actually, and he was actually compensated for it because they were able to prove in court that there was no evidence that had ever actually occurred, and it really brought into question his legacy, which I don't think that you can discount all of the things that all of the war stories and the numerous decorations that he received overseas.
No, but it does bring into question.
It does bring into what
was embellished or real or not.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember Jesse Ventura was like he died, and I don't remember. he was just like, "Oh well, we're going to court anyway." Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Fuck you, you shouldn't have said that."
He got-
Sorry, he's dead, but he
got
shouldn't have said
millions
that
of
about
he got
me.
millions of dollars
Yeah.
too, as a result
His
of that
book
settlement.
sales and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah. He's like, "Oh well, I'm going to court anyway."
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I mean, if somebody wrote something in a book that was supposed to be a non-fictional book, and they said that they did something to you that was totally just
ruin your
false,
character or
that
false.
was,
Even if it just false.
even if it was just false. I mean, you know, if you have the money to bring that person to court and sue them for defamation, you know, I mean, why not? You know. Why not do that? I mean, you're you know, it's a strike against your integrity for one thing,
and it's hard to get away from stuff like that.
Sure,
it's just like starting a rumor in 7th grade.
Right.
If someone starts a rumor, that shit travels with you
forever.
Yes,
forever.
It's the same thing. And why not stand up for yourself? It's the same principle.
Right. Right.
You know, because it involves the legal. No, you should still do it no matter what.
No matter
And
what.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm you know, I respected him for that. You know,
I did in a way too. Yeah, I mean, I was like,
because there's probably a lot of people would probably not go up against
pressure.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. Like, look, this guy died. You know,
he's a
military war hero.
Right, military war hero. You know, Navy SEAL. You know, why not just let bygones be bygones?
Jesse was like, he shouldn't have fucking lied.
Yeah,
he
shouldn't have. You know, wrote something that was false about me.
Yeah.
So you know, kudos to Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had a cool show on I think it was on the History Channel for a little while. Something like that.
Yeah, he would go. Yeah,
conspiracy theory.
We're gonna go talk to Senator Smith, and he would like knock on the door, like, I've got these papers here.
Is Sasquatch real?
Yeah, it was a cool show though. I think I watched them on YouTube. Have y'all ever seen this? There's a channel on YouTube called First Person Defender. Have you ever seen that? It's where
I don't think so.
These guys will set up these different situations where they're like they have GoPros and shit all over them, and they'll do these. They'll take somebody and they'll like, you know, I'm sure some of it's kind of staged or whatever, but they just GoPros all over the place, and they'll take somebody and they'll put them in a weird situation like, you know, you go and pick your husband up from work, and this guy starts kind of harassing you in the car, and what do you do? And they have guns with simunition in them and all that stuff. You know what simunition is, like the clay bullets, but they still have gunpowder and stuff, so that, you know, they're very realistic. And they'll go through a scenario and they record it all, and then they go back and they teach them how to, you know, do this and defend yourself and watch these kind of angles and corners and just practice drawing the weapon.
So I'm asking about, so the person that's getting this done to them, they know what's going to happen, or they just sign a waiver saying something's going to happen.
I think it's more that.
Good luck.
Because
Like,
that was my idea a while back. I wanted to
It's a pretty neat show.
And then later on, they do like a fight companion.
Yes,
it's kind of a neat show. It's
that's what you should have done.
It's a lot. Yeah, they kind of do a little bit of that. It's like they'll take them, they'll teach them a few things and show.
What
them
is this
some
called
stuff.
again,
It's
Barrett?
called First Person Defender.
Okay.
I mean, it's a YouTube channel. It's old. I you know, years ago I watched some of them, and then they'll go back and they'll do the scenario after they teach them, but they change it a little bit. You know, instead of the guy coming from here, he comes from some other, and then now there's two guys or something. You know, and the husband, you know, and there's all kinds of like abduction type ones or even rape. I remember one was a guy, and he was like, it was like an ATM type robbery, and then he taught him. The guy like eventually tripped him and got him on the ground, and so he taught him like a little bit of like during the break, he taught him like how to hold guard and how to sweep the guy off of him. Like, it was kind of cool. And then they go do it again, and now there's two guys, and he has a knife. You know, one of them's got a knife. So, you know, it was, you know, so they change it up. You know, and then there's people filming that are wearing yellow shirts that they're supposed to act like they're not there. Kind of, you know, they're just invisible. They're just holding cameras and stuff. It's pretty neat. Kind of just, I don't know, just, you know, like practical self-defense, you know, or arm self-defense.
I guess the guys have to wear yellow shirts because once that person cleans house with the first guy and the second guy, and he turns and there's like, you know, a couple
Nothing
people
but
standing
yellow
around,
shirts,
like
yeah.
it's time
Yeah.
to start kicking the cameraman's ass.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
You know?
It's for
Why
the
stop here?
Yeah.
But it's like deer. You have to wear orange because they can't see it.
They can't see orange.
Right.
They're camouflage.
Mhm.
It's for the audience too.
They
Like,
like
these people aren't involved
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
in the altercation. It's just these people, and they got to get multiple cam. But everybody has like GoPros on their head and on their chest and stuff, so they got all these weird all these angles together and stuff.
I don't think Dick Cheney can see orange either.
He
shot his boy in the face. Yeah.
Well,
and his boy got on TV and was like, "It was my fault."
Yeah, that's what. Have you seen the commercial for Vice?
Yeah, he shoots him in
It
the
looks
face.
great.
Yeah.
That looks like a good fucking movie.
Yeah, it was gonna be kind of hilarious. I'm sure.
I shouldn't have been standing in his line of
Yeah,
fire.
that was my bad. I thought he had a heart, but no, we found out he didn't have a heart. Didn't have a pulse.
In
shoots
the
people in his
movie,
fucking face.
and he like sitting in his car, like in the car door or something.
Yeah,
And
like
he's
the van's open or something like
he's
that, and the
just
dude.
like, bang.
Yeah, it's very weird. I guess they're making it look like it just went off.
I don't know.
I-
either that
in the
or- I thought they
movie,
were making
I
it
think
look
that's
like
what they're.
I just remember hearing about it, and then I remember seeing the guy literally on the news,
Yeah.
like
Bandages.
standing at a podium,
Bandages.
Bandages
and
on
he's
his
just like,
face.
"It was my fault,
Yeah, my bad.
my bad,
Yeah, I
my
fucked
bad."
that up.
And Dick Cheney's in the corner, like, "You're damn right, it's your fault."
I thought in the
that's what I said,
movie-
sir.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
Please
I thought
don't
in
disappear
the
me.
trailer for the movie they were making it look like he just did it so nonchalant. It
Maybe.
was like, I'm a bad motherfucker. He's
Well-
like, what'd you say? Just like or whatever.
Well, see, if it were that in
I don't know.
the clip I saw, the trailer, it was just a quick
Yeah.
showing the end of the trailer clips
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
It's
So I
probably-
have no idea what.
Me neither. That's all. I'm kind of making it up. Just my version of what I saw too. Yeah.
Just think of
Like
Bush,
that
though.
fast.
I mean, Bush.
Sam
Bush had the-
Rockwell's going to be Bush, man. That dude looks fucking. That's
but he
awesome.
he had the dream team, didn't he? I mean, he had Dick Cheney as the vice president, right? And then he had Rumsfeld. Rumsfeld was the secretary of he was secretary of defense,
Yes,
wasn't he?
yeah, secretary of defense.
And Rumsfeld, going back to a story that we were talking about earlier, I think he was actually like the guy who patented aspartame from.
Was he? Oh yes, I think I actually.
Yeah,
I remember there was a movie that said that.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
The movie where they were like
Dream Team, bro.
September.
Well, them are the
10th.
Clintons, right?
And then he had, he also had that the general. Who was the general? The highly decorated guy, old guy.
What
What was his name?
It's like on the tip of my brain, but I can't think
Yeah,
of it. I know what you're talking about.
him too. So
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, man. So the Dream Team. He
The
did,
Dream
He
Team.
did the Dream Team.
yeah.
Trump's just firing everybody. He's just like a rotating, and he just like everybody's just rotating through.
What did you expect? He had an
I-
entire TV show based
yeah,
on
I know. They
this.
said you're fired. You're fired.
Just continuing it.
Well, we've got work for 2 more weeks. 2 more
Yeah,
weeks.
what's
sweet.
gonna happen after that?
Did y'all get back pay?
Yes, we got back pay.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
That's
Yeah, it was
awesome,
awesome.
dude.
I think, I don't know what's happening.
Thank
I
God,
think we're going
man.
to shut down again. I don't know how long. I think it's going to be a lot longer this time.
Yeah.
But and like I
You're
said,
just kind of going
he's-
worst case scenario.
Yeah, he's told them if I don't get a wall, we're shutting down, and they're basically saying we're not going to give you a full wall.
Yeah.
That's basically what's happening. I want a wall, and they say, well, we'll do a wall here, here, and here, but we're not going to do one the whole way. It's that simple, and I think he says, all right, power play, I will shut this motherfucker down.
Damn. Everybody save your back pay.
Yes. Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
spend your back pay. Man.
That being said, I'm gonna have to go.
You gotta go?
Yeah,
That's not cool.
yeah. I can just sneak out right now.
No, we can cut
No,
it.
no,
We can
no,
go
no,
in
we'll,
3 hours.
we'll cut.
No.
We'll cut.
We
dude.
can do the we can
Yeah.
cut it. We've been going
Yeah,
3
it's-
hours, man. I'm getting
Dude,
hungry.
Yeah, man. This was fun, man.
Yeah, it got bad. I felt at the beginning, it's so weird, man. I still, for like the first 15, 20, 30 minutes, I'm kind of like, and then it just starts
Well,
happening.
you know what's weird is this is the first time that's happened to me.
Really?
Feeling wise,
I
yeah.
get that way,
Usually,
man.
bam, bam, bam.
Bam.
But the first 15, 20 minutes, I felt like we were still.
Yeah.
Shit, we gotta fucking catch
Gotta
something.
catch
Jesus,
something
it's
here.
not- yeah.
I got like a second. I mean, if I wasn't hungry, I feel like I could go for a while.
I
Hey,
could,
man,
I could
I'll
keep going.
just
I gotta
cut out. Y'all go ahead.
I gotta piss though.
I'm going to give you some video and stuff right quick, man. I got to piss. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I got-
We'll shut it down, man.
I mean, if we were the one
it
to, we
down.
can cut it back on and go
Yeah.
again if we want.
Hey, man. So thank you.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Brother. Appreciate you.
Purple Shed Podcast. I don't even think I even said that
Nope.
the whole time. Purple Shed Podcast.
All right, man.
The
Purple
video-
Chef Podcast.
We love y'all.
All right, bye. Oh, Jesus! All right. You want this video or do you want something else?